being a goon with it.
Shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Yeah, I'm mukbanging over here. Just being a goon with it. Oh, y'all. Just being real with it.
Oh,
That's what it is.
oh, that's every day.
That's really what it is. We got a couple minutes. Everybody's still settling in.
Like, share, subscribe.
If you're rocking with the
Shalom, bro.
Shalom, brother Andre.
We live.
Yeah, we live already. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Woo! I know some of y'all waiting for the sisters. They coming. Got to get the families together. Here, when we fellowship, we don't do it like these ministries do it. When the ministry come first, we. You screw it that way?
Y'all ain't got to move nowhere. I was going to ask Brother Frank, let me slide in there. Right up in there with y'all. Oh, Lord. Brother David to move completely out.
I'm good. You can still see my left arm.
Yep.
He said his left arm.
That's because he doing a mukbang.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to do the same thing.
Oh, we got 2 mukbangs going.
3.
I'm going to do the same
Same thing.
We'll be the mukbang crew.
This ain't a mukbang, though.
Woo!
This is just juice. With
Some wine. Oh, man.
one step up.
We got some shine.
Huh?
To the right.
So yeah, the sisters will be on in a little bit. I was gonna say, we don't do it like the ministries do it.
Oh, that's so I can see, let you in, Brother Frank. I'm holding you up.
You know, no ministries, the ministry comes first.
Yep.
Your family comes fifth. It's after the pastor, the elders, the deacons, the head choir director.
How many people in the room?
We got 17 so far.
17? It's going to be fun.
And
It's going to be awesome, man.
we have a great stream for you.
Yes, sir.
We got goons here,
Oh, Lord.
cheeseburgers,
Oh, wow.
ice.
Hot sauce.
Oh,
With vinegar.
with vinegar. Woo!
Well, we're going to put this question on out here early. How many people are actually observing Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread?
Great question.
Just put a 10 in there if you are actually observing it. That means doing. Actually doing it. Because we run into many different stories now about all of these guys and their families. They keeping it real. They doing all they can for the Most High and all of that other stuff that they talk about. But are you actually observing it? We know it's not going to be perfected.
Right.
We know it's not going to be perfected, especially if you're new.
So
or if you're just starting.
if you had to go out and buy a
leg of lamb,
a leg of lamb,
goat, whatever it is, of the first year, which means under 2 years old.
Under
Most
2
people
years
don't
old.
get that. Under 2 years old.
Because we know we got them cats who, I don't do the Passover, brother, because, you know, got to get a better understanding.
Meanwhile,
Obedience, then understanding.
That's what I'm saying. You obey first before you understand.
yes, sir.
Not once you understand. This is why sometimes a lot of these men in their households, their wives operate in that same way. Well, help me understand first, then I'll do it. Not really.
The children too.
Yep.
The children too.
Timmy, get over here. Why, Dad?
Yep, they
Because I
emulate
said
the
so.
head.
I have to understand why you're calling me.
But why? Because there's danger over there. Oh, okay. Now that I understand, I'll do it.
Doesn't work like that.
We be looking off at them and then see the same thing with the real. Honey, come here. Why?
Sister Rosie from UK, Shabbat Shalom. Fallen Sky Prepper, Shabbat Shalom. Israelite wife Desiree, Shabbat Shalom. Israel Stream from South Africa, Shabbat Shalom. Paul W, Shabbat Shalom. Brother, Yahshua my salvation, Shabbat Shalom. Reformation Music Group, Shabbat Shalom.
Yes, sir.
People take jobs where they don't know how to do what they do until they go through the training. Even though you may be training, you still have to show up. Man!
Wow.
Killed it!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's for all those. I didn't buy a lamb because I'm trying to get the understanding.
Nope.
I didn't do Passover this year because I'm trying to get the understanding. Just like he said,
Just read the book and live it.
read the book and live it. And if you get it wrong, how many of us truly have the Shabbat right?
I would venture to say zero.
No, I would say none of us do. We all working towards, we do what we understand, we do what we know, we do what we see to obey, and then the Most High is going to bring it all, he'll bring it all home as he sees fit.
And as you doing.
Yep.
And when we say observing the Passover, I just go past Passover. Observing the feast of unleavened bread. Unleavened bread. Now, when we say that, how many of y'all ate hamburgers? Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That kind of stuff. I mean, the list goes on. Flapjacks, biscuits. I mean, because that's big. I mean, we're truly observing. We're actually adhering to the commandment.
I would venture to say that if you come together for the feast of unleavened bread and you eat bread, something's wrong.
It's not looking good.
I'm just being real. I would have to venture out and say something's wrong with your feast of unleavened bread.
Now, if you think it's lawful to eat a biscuits and gravy during unleavened bread, I mean, I think that there would have to be something wrong with your reading comprehension.
For real.
I'm just being honest. If you read taking out the leaven as we gonna have biscuits and gravy, I think there's a problem. And I know we're supposed to work out our own soul salvation, but the other thing is,
With fear and trembling.
right, with fear and
With
trembling.
fear and trembling.
The other part is though, who wants to really be cut off? Do you really believe you're gonna be cut off?
That's where it is right there.
Is this Bible just a story? You know, is it almost like a Harlequin romance novel for some?
That's where it's at right there.
Right there, that's it.
I think that's why it says the fear of Yah is the beginning of wisdom.
The beginning of wisdom.
And that fear meaning if you really read it and believe it, you will be willing to move on it, no matter the cost. Not in speech, but in deed, in your doings, you will be moving on it.
Yes, sir.
Sister Sky, who belongs to Brother David, said, if you can't pay attention to and limit what you put in your mouth for 8 days, how can you assess your pride all year?
Ooh, that's strong.
How could you assess any sin all year if you can't remember, hey, brothers, we coming together for the Feast of Unleavened Bread. You enjoying your cheeseburger? Your double Whopper with cheese? You like it? What was the point? Never mind.
I would venture to say this. If men can't observe those things, right? What you look like talking about what your wife ain't doing? What you look like talking about what your children ain't doing? Because it starts with us.
Always.
We have to set the example.
Always. If you see a lot of lip licking, it's dry out here.
It is. It is.
Man. David got chapstick.
Should be interesting.
Really should be.
Most just aren't real.
We love the real ones.
We love the real ones.
Love them.
Most just aren't.
Yes, sir. What plus nothing. But if it's in there, seems like you everything within your power to be doing, you'd be doing it. I know that's what I strive for.
Right.
In my house as well.
Me too. Understanding that you probably ain't going to get it perfect.
Correct.
But the things that you do know,
Do
do them. That, right.
Right. Hold on. You gonna go buy you a color TV on the high Sabbath? On the last day? You finna go get a big screen?
Well, I'm going to do it so we can worship the Most High.
Nah.
Most High wouldn't want me to miss the sale.
Right.
Oh, man.
Actually, yeah, he would.
Paul W. said, just to verify, it's bread and bread products. Yes. I know a lot of people go off into that. You ain't supposed to drink wine. It's called the Feast of Unleavened Bread. That sounds so self-explanatory to me.
Yes, sir.
Not the Feast of Leaven.
Yes, sir.
The Feast of Unleavened Bread. Meaning we refrain from bread products.
To anyone who would think that they can get rid of all leaven, like I said before, unless you're gonna put a big sack around a big bubble around your house and suck all the air out, you just can't do it because there's yeast crawling on the outsides of your body. It's in the air.
Right.
But y'all didn't call for that. That's why it said unleavened
Bread.
Yes, sir.
He didn't say the leaven in your wine. He didn't say. He said unleavened bread.
The Feast of Unleavened Wine.
The Feast of Unleavened Hot Sauce.
Oh, my goodness.
No, bread.
Bread.
But, you know, if you believe that, not to this individual, but to anyone who believes that, then, hey,
Have at it.
have at it. But it's interesting, it's those same people who will be behind the big screens on High Sabbath.
Right.
Or, well, you know.
But Jean-Paul, you said no yeast. That's an impossibility. By the sheer fact that you took a breath today, you had yeast.
Yes, sir.
There's yeast everywhere.
Right. Yep.
On your skin.
And if you wanna fact check that, get you some dough. Well, let me break that down. Get some water and some flour and make some dough. and leave it out for a while and watch that begin to rise. Watch that create its own culture.
Yep. That's yeast.
That's yeast.
So if we're not supposed to be having yeast, it'll just be, like he said, lock yourself in the bubble.
Some people have to remove their wives if it was just that.
Man.
The
Man.
daughters.
They have to move every female out their house. They got yeast flowing like milk and honey.
And then why did it say unleavened bread? I think
Right.
God knows what he means.
Right.
He says what he means, and he means what he says. Why do
Yes,
we
sir.
need to add to it?
In fact, if you go back a little bit further, the Bible says, Yahshua who says that it's a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump.
Lump.
He didn't say a little leaven leaveneth the whole jar. He's talking about bread.
Yes, sir.
Now for the hyper spiritual ones, if you want to go out there and eliminate every yeast product and fast for 7 days because there's yeast everywhere, I mean, if that's what you feel the Most High is leading you to, do it.
Yep. But it's probably not the Most High.
There you go. The Kent Scales Project said bread represents the body, leaven represents sin and going off. Sounds pretty simple to me.
I would just read.
Oh, Brother John Paul, yes, you're right. You're right. He said, make bread without yeast. That's what I meant, brother. Yes.
That's correct.
That's
brother.
correct. So Brother John Paul, what he is saying is absolutely correct. And he actually says, you shall eat unleavened bread for 7 days. So that would mean have a piece of unleavened bread every single day.
Ain't no cheeseburger. That's unleavened bread.
That ain't biscuits with jelly, brother.
Sister Rosie from UK said, Shalom, brothers. I think the problem is many of us were following the Jewish without thinking who clean their homes of all leavened products and even have wine without yeast. Right.
That's spot on.
That is it. That is it, sister.
We got to get away from doctrines of men, i.e. Jewish fables, and get back to the book plus nothing.
Yes, sir.
I really believe that people did get back to the book plus nothing. You see the restoration of your families, your children, healing, deliverance, without all the hocus pocus. And again, we're not speaking against deliverance
Not at all.
because we do it. We're talking about the theatrics that people do in deliverance.
Bondage.
The bondage. Because when I read the book, I see there's a lot of deliverance in just obedience.
Yes, sir.
Obedience to Yah's word is a major deliverer. Just, you don't believe me? Read Deuteronomy 28. Read Deuteronomy 28 and see what Yah says to those of us if we keep his commandments. I mean, he did say that it rained. In fact, he says that none of the calamities that fall on the Egyptians will fall on you. Even the calamities that are unspoken of wouldn't fall on you.
I think Brother Scott asked, what states are we from? Or what states are we located?
I'm located in Missouri.
Arkansas.
Florida.
Missouri.
Essentially,
The Ozarks.
the Ozarks. Sister Rosie says she agrees. The book plus nothing. The Kent Scales Project, go ahead and send an email. Send an email, brother, and we'll see if we can connect in a neutral place.
No doubt.
The tough thing, I'm going to be real. I'm going to be real right now. The tough thing with connecting is that I have connected with more people who I don't ever choose to connect with ever again than I have brothers that I want to connect with. That's just being real.
That's true.
You connect with people that are so far off. You're just like, what? And it's not that they're off, because I was off. But they're off, and in their pride,
They're just not real. They're not transparent.
at all.
This is true.
Because we're not trying to recreate the next phase or next brand of Christianity.
Nope.
We're just trying to be real.
Right.
Be real and be real brothers being obedient to the Most High.
That's it.
We're not flexing.
No religion. You don't have to give us your deed. Your wives, your children, your tax return, your unemployment, your stimulus checks,
Testicles.
your testicles, your manhood. You don't have to hide. If you are in error in something, we have more respect if you just say, hey,
I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Can y'all help me out?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, I help you out. No problem. But if you come, I know what I'm doing, brothers. I'm just here to show up. I'm just here. How y'all doing? And see y'all later.
Yep.
And you can't connect,
I'm doing it better than you guys are doing it anyway.
even though I ain't done it yet. That's when we have a problem.
Yep.
Yeah, we're not asking tithes and offerings. We're not asking you to give anything to us.
Give your best to Yah.
Give your best to Yah and your family. Give it to Yah. Give it to your families. And hallelujah, if you come up and are strengthened, and we come up and we're strengthened, Israel comes up.
Yes, sir.
The faith comes up as a whole. We all do our homesteads differently. And you're looking at 5 brothers that each have their own homesteads. And we all do it differently.
Yes, sir.
And actually, that actually helps us grow because we're all learning from one another and how to do certain things.
Because none of us think we know it all.
We don't know it all.
We learn from one another
learn
all
from
the
one
time.
another.
Right.
No, sir.
And I know that the traditional westernized religious so-called Israelite faith-based church hates that idea. They want you to be under them and to consider them your leaders and elders, and if you don't obey them, screw y'all. We ain't got that here.
Don't obey us, obey the book.
Right. Please don't obey us.
Right.
Well, isn't it more like if you don't obey them, you're going to hell?
Right.
You're going to fail.
If you don't obey your leaders, you going to hell.
Your family is cursed.
When something bad befalls you, don't be coming back to us. Nigga, I ain't gonna be coming back to you. In fact, I was delivered from you.
Ooh.
You wanna see deliverance? Leave that ministry. Deliverance.
That's real. I guarantee your wallet will grow fatter.
You will receive the blessings.
You'll be doing stuff on your homestead you could never do.
You'll have a homestead.
That's true.
You'll have a wife
Right.
and not be a servant.
That's true.
Man.
So no, you don't have to call us shepherd.
Nope. Just a brother.
Just a brother. In fact, if you call us shepherd, I'm just gonna say, well, according to Psalm,
I'm not gonna talk to you.
yeah, I'll probably
I'm
hang
gonna
up
be
on.
honest.
I'll just be like, you know what? According to Psalms 23, David said, Yahweh is my shepherd. I shall not want. Maybe that's why they all want so much. Because they got men as their shepherds.
Ooh wee. Man.
Mm.
Real ones.
We have the sisters, like I said, they coming. But unlike, we said earlier, unlike ministries and churches, our wives' responsibilities is not to the elders.
Nope.
It's to the family.
To the families.
I don't remember when y'all said, wives, obey your pastors
As unto the Lord.
as unto the Lord. Submit yourselves to them. Reverence them. Then when you're done, just bend on over in front of them. They'll anoint them with oil.
Man, that's rough. But that's what's going on out
Happens
there.
every day.
Every day.
Yep. These dudes set their wives before these camps. The next thing they know, they want to leave, and the wife or wives are not leaving with them.
You're a servant.
And that's actually according to Torah. You just didn't know it.
Right.
My people perish because of a lack of knowledge.
Because they do what with knowledge? Reject it.
Rejected. Would not have it.
And if you think he's lying, go ahead and look in the Torah about how a servant is to act when he gets a wife. Just read it. Read what it says. And ask us if we're wrong. The husband's like, well, baby, we leaving. Well, I'm going to stay with the leadership because, well, we got married here, and I belong to them.
An elder, a pastor said, you're off. I'm not leaving ya.
Right. Right, they do say that. I'm not leaving Yah. As if the representation of Yah is their pastor and not their husband. That's foolishness.
Satanic. It's very
Wicked.
wicked.
Oh, they're starting to line up. I'm leaving because they got dirt.
I'm trying to see whether or not I even want to deal with dudes. When we talk about the real ones, like if I come shake your hand and you tell me your name is Benadiah or something, but you know your mom and them gave you the name Bert or Frank or something, I don't really consider you real. I'm just being honest. Just being honest. That's just me.
That's true. That is true.
Or I meet dudes and they ask me my name and I say David and I'm like, oh, you mean Dawid? No,
Like,
I mean David.
I mean David.
Like you got it wrong.
Right.
Or they ask you, well, what's your Hebrew name? Right. I guess it's Chris.
Where's your...
And then they say something stupid like, well, that's your slave name. And I'm looking like, nigga, don't you have a social security number? What do you mean a slave? That's your government name. You got a government number.
Right. Yeah. And I know you do because you're driving.
You're driving. Let me see your driver's license. You got a government
And
number.
we know it don't say Ben, all of that other stuff. You've been everything but real. That's true.
Cause I had somebody try to hit me with that. You know, you're showing respect to your oppressors. And I'm like, you got a social security number, right? Yeah. You're showing respect to your oppressors. Shut up.
The same guy's probably using his social security number to buy a washing machine and a dryer.
Right. He got credit. He got credit, a driver's license. Well, you have a driver's license. Wouldn't that be?
We just need to quit playing.
We do.
We need to quit playing with the Father.
That's what it is.
Just being honest. Take it seriously and actually live it.
Man.
That's
a foreign concept, though. That concept is so foreign. Because a lot of us are made to feel stupid. Like you are completely incapable of picking the book up, reading it, and having an understanding. You are too stupid to understand the Bible, so I have to come in my fringes and garments and phylacteries and outside of the cup looking real good. I gotta come and impart my spirit on you.
Nah, I'll just stick with the book.
Me too.
Let's see. What day are we on Unleavened Bread? I'm still stuck on, how many more days we have left?
We got what? High Shabbat is Saturday night.
So, is it okay for us to go get some hamburgers and Cobb salads with bacon and biscuits and pork rinds and all that kind of stuff? And what else? Flapjacks?
Flapjacks. No.
I wouldn't recommend.
I mean, you might as well. Doesn't it say in the book that you are not to do some but leave others undone?
Mm.
So what is the point of keeping the 7th-day Shabbat if on the high Shabbat you treat it, unless you treat every Shabbat like that? Maybe that's really what it is. You just treat every Shabbat like it's a regular day.
Pizza party. During unleavened bread. And I don't mean unleavened crust.
Yep, right.
Breadsticks.
Brian Scott said, hopefully this is not off topic, but can you talk about starting a homestead in good areas in the Ozarks? I'm in Seattle, but want to move to a good area like the Ozarks or Tennessee area. Can you touch on? Stay away from Harrison, Arkansas. Stay away from Flippin, Arkansas. If you're west of that or east of Harrison, I would say get at least an hour out from Harrison both ways. Harrison used to be a sundown town, and yeah, they're not quite the friendliest people. So get an hour west or an hour east of Harrison, or hour north. I wouldn't say go south of Harrison, because now you're going towards the Little Rock area. But stay away from Harrison. Outside of that, what we have to understand is in any area you move to, whether you're a person of color or not, you're going to have to stand on your own 2 feet.
That's it.
Because you will be tested. They're going to test you. It doesn't matter what color. I've talked to people that were white brothers and sisters, who moved out here and they got tested. You know, you have to understand you're moving, especially if you're coming from a Seattle area or, in my case, Southern California, Texas. You're coming from areas that are multicultural, I guess you're going to say. Right. You're going to stand out. Did y'all experience that, brothers?
Yes.
They from Texas, too. I would say do your best you can to blend in. Don't come out here with your spree wheel spinners on your car. Don't come out here bumping your music. You literally, as much as you can, want to be gray man.
Right. Be respectable. You be friendly, and that will go a tremendously long way.
Don't bring your westernized culture.
Yep.
Well, I'm Hebrew, and, look at my 12. Don't put the 12 tribes chart, which we don't believe in anyways, but don't put it on your front gate.
Right.
Just don't do that stuff. Be wise. What is it? Be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. We have to learn to be wise.
I'm pretty sure people respect men of their word, too.
Oh. That goes a long way out here. That goes a long way out here. Being a man of your word. Actually, they want to see you work out here.
They do?
They want to see you.
Yep. What improvements have been made?
They want to see improvements. They want to know stuff is actually taking place on your property.
Are you coming in to be an asset or a liability to the area?
They see that. They see that. If you come out there and you got flashing lights in a strip club in your backyard, and you got a lot of, especially even for some of these areas, if you bring in a lot of extra traffic, they notice that sort of stuff.
Right.
The best thing I would suggest is be quiet. And you said, how do they test you? They're going to test to see if you're a man. Or are you scared? He said, Bro, Ronnie's back there saying, They will test to see will you stand on what you say you are. Or, for instance, they may drive by your house a couple times. You may have to go out there, or your property. You may have to go out there and be like, is there a problem? But they sure will. They'll pull in your driveway if you don't got to get it off.
Would you say that for men that's coming out, that they should know the coordinates of their land?
You should probably know the coordinates of your given property, yes.
Because I'm just wondering, like,
you shouldn't have your map upside down.
Exactly.
None of that stuff.
Putting a fence up on their property, what you think is your property.
Right. So can you bring your AR? I mean, I would suggest you have a firearm. I would highly suggest.
I wouldn't leave home without some protection. Well,
man. Some of y'all need to leave home without protection.
Prior to not leaving home without protection, I would invest in myself and my family by ensuring that I have proper weapons training, firearm safety. I'll leave it at that. So, but you need to be able to have a firearm and know how to safely use it.
And that's and safety and fire, especially what we're seeing nowadays. It's not watching a couple YouTube videos.
Do not watch John Wick and think that you're prepared.
You mean I can't change my mag by throwing the mags up in the air, unloading, and then ejecting and flipping my gun up like that, catching the mag?
You don't clear your weapon with your finger anywhere near the trigger well, inside of it. You just don't do it.
What about shooting up your car? Is that firearm safety?
Wow.
I'm just saying.
These things are real.
This is real stuff.
This is Israel.
That would get you run out.
This is the faith.
That's sad.
It's scary.
And really, you know, these things that we're talking about is really not just germane to faith. This is just manhood.
Right.
We have to get back to what it means to be a man. Before you can be a man, you have to be a man.
Period.
We hear this all too often of, I'm new to the faith. Well, that doesn't really have anything to do with weapon safety.
No.
Nope.
We're not starting a forest fire.
Right. So, you know, the men in the area will be watching for such things.
And if they spot incompetence in you, they will use you to death. If you plan on coming out, don't notify your neighbors you're not going to be out on your property and expect them to watch your property.
Nope, won't happen.
Because you'll likely get back to your property and find nothing on your property.
They'll be saying, thank you.
They'll say thank you. And you'll be asking, what happened? I'm like, I don't know.
To be honest with you, that's the same way in the city.
It
or
is.
any other place. I don't know why we get stuck on stupid when we start reading a book. All of a sudden now, everybody is a good guy.
Right.
Or a good
Right.
woman, or whatever the case is. No, that doesn't exist.
Still on the planet Earth.
That's right. You still on the, and the only thing you can really you should be investing in and counting on is brothers, like men counting on other men who are actually brothers.
Real brothers.
Meaning you live the book. You're bound by the law. But don't expect outside people to do what you're doing or what you claim you're doing.
That's real.
I'm just being honest. That's like us all. Everybody just take their weapon and go lay it by the side of the road, put a sign up here, gun, free gun.
Yes.
And what are you going to expect the people to do? Pick up the guns and keep moving.
Right.
That's the problem.
Wisdom. We have a problem being wise.
Yes, sir.
I don't know how it happened, what happened. We got a lot of dumb people who masquerade in this faith, who I guess because they say, I'm in the faith now, I don't got to lock the door to my car.
That is crazy.
I'm in the faith now, so I don't have to prepare. I'm in the faith now, so I don't have to wear a seatbelt. I'm in the faith now, so I don't have to carry a firearm. I'm in the faith now, I don't even have to breathe. I don't eat. All I do is fast and pray, because I'm in the faith
spiritual.
now. Yeah, I'm spiritual.
Man, that is crazy.
We've lost common sense. And it just kind of shows that these are the same type of people that when they were in traditional westernized Christianity, they did the same thing. So then they screwed up their life in Christianity, came over to the faith, and now I know the truth. Apparently you don't if you're still doing the same shit you did in Christianity. You must not know the truth then. The truth is more than opening up the Bible, reading it, closing the Bible, and going throughout your day as if you never read the Bible.
Right.
because you got fringes on. Look at my beard. I got a beard and fringes, and my wife got a head covering and a skirt. And that's the faith.
What are you living? Where is the application of what you have read?
And we're going to see that application not just in you doing this. We'll see it in your family.
We'll see it when we meet you.
That's what I'm saying. There you go. There you go. Go ahead, brother.
We'll see it when we meet you.
Man.
We meet you and you come out and you have to say, Timmy, come here. Timmy, stop doing that. Stop it. I said, come here. Boy, I said. Fine, go that way. I meant go that way, Timmy. Honey, I said, come here. Come here. I meant go that way.
Because he ain't listening to you.
Right.
It shows up. And we watching too. All that big talk. Hey, I'm larger than Charlie. I'm the man. And then you come among us with your families. We find out who the men are.
Mm.
Man or men, depending on what your category is.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's one wife, two wife, or your little rascal children.
We're just saying, hey, there's nothing special about us.
Right.
There's no reason to flex amongst us. We don't flex.
Nope.
It just is what it is.
Nope.
It's just real.
Yes, sir.
That's
Real with
it.
the good, real with the bad. We're real. We're not flexing.
If my child misbehaves, I go and I handle it. I don't act like my children are perfect.
Right. Same here.
If one of my wives is out of order, I don't say, you know what, baby, just go talk to other sisters. I handle it. Because that's my responsibility as a man.
As a husband. That is called being a husband. The husband provides the nutrition.
Mm.
The nourishing.
Yes, sir.
What kind of husband would I be if I plant seeds in my garden and then when it's not growing, I'm just like,
Go talk to the other plants.
yeah, go talk to the other plants. Get your nourishment over there. No. I, as the husbandman, must seek and figure out what is my garden lacking in nutrients so that I can get the optimal growth out of my garden. The same thing applies with your wife, wives, or children.
Absolutely.
You have to pour in the right nutrients into them so that they can grow.
And I would argue that if you're a lone wolf husband, you don't even really know where you're deficient.
You don't.
You may think you're A+. And I believe that people really believe that.
I think so too.
Until you get around other brothers, and that's when you get to say, oh.
Yep, you get to see the real you.
Yeah.
Right.
Because now you actually get iron sharper than iron.
Yes, sir.
That's a good thing.
Absolutely.
I love being around brethren and seeing how they navigate and operate. I love being able to trust somebody enough that I can say, hey, brothers, where am I off at? But I don't come here and say, I'm perfect, I got it.
Right.
I got it. He tried to tell me something, I'm like, I already got it. I already know what I'm doing.
Yep. I did my research.
I watched a YouTube video from T.D. Jakes. Women now are loose. I know how to be a husband now. I don't have to coach my wives.
I was just thinking, if you had it all down, wasn't Brother David cutting trees today?
Yep,
Wasn't we observing?
that's true.
We don't have to. Maybe we might need to increase in the skill set.
That's true.
I'm gonna just say we need to increase. I
Yep.
know I need to increase in that skill set.
There were a couple of trees that I had no clue how to cut. No clue. Because the tree went this way and curved back that way, but the branches were going this way. And I didn't just say, hey, brothers, watch me. I'm about to kill my family by taking this tree down. I didn't do that. I said, brother, can you come and show us how to cut the tree? And did we all not learn something?
Yes, sir.
All of us learned something. He brought his chainsaw out. He showed us how to back cut. He gave us some instruction. Now, mind you, I've cut plenty of trees down. I've cut probably 200 to 300 trees down. But I didn't just say, well, I'm going to do it, brothers, and kill my family or my herd or my chickens. I didn't do that. I said, brother, I love my family enough that I know that it would not be optimal for a tree to be in the living room. That's not how I want to live. Nor do I want a tree in my chicken coop. Nor do I want a tree in an area I don't want it to land. So Brother David brought his chainsaw out, and he showed us brethren. He sharpened us brethren in regards to how to cut trees that are confusing, what to look for. Now, I could have just said, I'm experienced over it. I cut down 200 trees.
Hey, some of us was asking questions, I thought.
I was asking questions.
I heard men asking questions. And that's another thing, too. You can't be so prideful that you can't ask questions. Nobody here has all the answers.
And that's kind of the whole purpose of coming together as brethren and being open and transparent, which we talk about open and transparent a lot. And the people and men avoid that. They avoid transparency. They avoid actually admitting, hey, I don't have it together. In fact, I just came out of the world, really. Now this faith is new to me.
Right.
Because what they're afraid of is a lot of these brothers are afraid of what they see in traditional westernized Christianity or churchianity, which is the elder's going to take authority over you in your house.
Yeah, that is not happening.
That's not what we're doing. Jay Morris, Shabbat Shalom. Lions Pride said, we know that's a big fat lie listening to TD Snakes. You're damn right it is. Anytime you say,
I'm always amazed every time we meet. And it's probably been for the last 6 months, I want to say. Over the last 6 months or better, every feast day, we've met with people, talked with people, whatever. And, how can I say this? You be hopeful that men will be super transparent so we can all grow.
right.
So we can actually establish brotherhood and our families be strengthened. But I think the part that is a little discouraging is that it's very few that they don't mind peering into your life.
Mm-hmm.
But allowing you to peer in their life
Nope.
is something totally different. Or if they're talking, well, you already know hands down, if we're talking about polygyny, everybody wants tips on polygyny. Everybody wants help in that area.
Tip number 1, you have to establish manhood first.
Yes, sir.
Don't bypass it.
Yes, sir. But anything outside of that, people don't really. I notice with men now, that's all they want to talk about.
Polygyny?
That is the beginning and ending of their whole faith.
That is the faith for them.
Right, polygyny.
The whole faith is polygyny.
I'm like, man, you're missing so many other parts.
Like, what do you believe in, brother? Polygyny. Well, what are you doing? What are you doing the seventh day? Polygyny. Huh. That's interesting. How do you eat clean? I eat polygyny. Damn. You know this is the feast day. Yep, it's the feast of unleavened polygyny.
The other thing is if we would work on brotherhood, if we would work on, actually being men, helping men get strengthened, we wouldn't have to talk about polygyny.
Nope.
We would have to talk about polygyny to that degree with a brother.
Yep.
Because first you have to get yourself straight. And the only way that is as we said earlier, is that you have to be around other brothers. You can't be a lone wolf or whatever that individualism type train of thought. That doesn't work.
It doesn't.
Yeah, you literally have to be against someone who can actually sharpen you. And whether you know it or not, that person is, I'm sure, being sharpened also.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's in patience, whether it's in charity, long suffering, whatever it is. And he may even be gaining in knowledge by being around you. But I would like to see the brotherhood really grow. That was one thing that I thought about on the way coming down. I would love to see that happen, but we have to have real men that are willing to say, I don't know it all, brother. It's so easy to come around here and say, hey, this is my first Passover, my first unleavened bread. Brother, what do I do?
That would have been
all
real.
I got is my camping equipment.
That's real.
I never done that before. What should I be doing? Does that make sense? What point me in the right direction, brothers?
And if anyone who would not have been more than happy and willing to just help anyone out who said that, raise your hand.
Yep. Really help me.
Brother, I don't know how to put up a tent, really. Can you show me how to put up a tent? Sure, absolutely. Absolutely. I've never swung an axe. Hey, I bought a gun and I honestly don't know how to use it.
Right. Absolutely.
Whatever it may be. We're not one of those dudes that's going to talk about people.
Because we've been there.
Because I was there.
Everyone has been there.
Matter of fact, I can just say it. The first Passover we did a few years back, my first time I ever took my family camping. I mean, in a camping environment, period, in life.
And you went from that to looking forward to Extreme Tabernacles.
Oh, man. We ain't, nah. I'll just say this. I'm from Florida. It's hot to the mofo over there, day and night. Right about now, it's probably running like mid-70s all the way to 80 at night, or close to it. So, I mean, it was 20-some degrees the other night.
Yeah,
we didn't have, I got
Last night, it was like 25, 20, 28 degrees.
I got a generator for CPAP, not for heat. We ain't firing up heaters. So I'm looking forward to Extreme Tabernacle. I want to see my family. I want to see not only me, but I'm looking forward to my family. Every time we come out, I'm looking forward to my family growing. Like when we're walking around, I like seeing the wives talking.
Me too.
And guess what? I don't walk around with a sheriff's badge. Hey, what you talking about over there? I mean, I'm not stalking them. This is an open forum for them to learn and grow and get sharpened by their sisters.
And one thing is that we don't have religious conversations here.
Nope.
We talk about real things, which is why we have to be very selective of who we bring to the feast days, because not everybody's ready for the conversations that we be having.
That's true.
No, they're not. They want the dirt, man. They want the juice. That's the problem with people. They want the juicy stuff so they can go run and tell that.
Yep.
But they don't want to grow.
Yep.
No, when you're around us, you got to want to grow. You got to want your family to grow. That's really being a real one. A real man of Yah desires for his family to grow at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just put that out there. At all costs, which may be your pride. You have to move your pride out the way if you really want your family to grow.
We have a diversity of brothers. We have brothers that make a pretty good amount of money and brothers that don't make a whole lot of money. And yet, there is no judgment. Nobody. Y'all see that? Sometimes I wish. No, I don't wish, but it would have been nice. But we can't do it because most of them ain't ready for these conversations. To be able to live stream a conversation on how it went, so they could understand when we say iron sharpens iron, we all leave these feast days literally like, damn. It gives me stuff to chew on for the next couple months.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Literally, this carries me over into the next time we have our holy convocation. It carries me over to that.
Yes, sir.
It's something to build on. And most men don't know how to build nothing. They don't know how to build their family because it's all an individual thing. I've got my family, and I got them over here cornered off in the, don't be saying nothing.
Yep.
Hey, what'd you tell them?
All thing they trying to build is polygyny.
That's it. Polygyny. That's the faith today. It's so damn bad we got people who don't even believe in the faith who's talking about polygyny and calling themselves of the faith, but the only type what they know is polygyny. Reformation music group said, ha ha, I'm Big Yehuda ben Yah ben Israel ben Joseph the Great.
That's about the gist of it.
That's what we get.
Man, that's a big name.
And everything but real.
He said, I'm Big Yehuda and Joseph the Great. He's both brothers.
All at the same time. We've actually met some who would have you to believe that.
I guess that'll be all right as long as he ain't been eating cheeseburgers during the feast days. I guess that'll be okay as long as you ain't been eating biscuits.
All right, the sisters ready? It's quiet in the church.
Yeah, we know y'all looking forward to that. Hey, they always looking forward to the women talking. They don't want to hear that junk. We don't want to hear that junk
Right.
they're talking about. I understand, but the brotherhood is suffering for it.
Yep.
I mean, I think this is my second year with Brother Ronnie and Brother Frank.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you,
Man.
second feast day, I can tell you, I feel closer to
Yep.
it. And it ain't just a feeling, some
Nope.
emotional garbage. It's because we talking, we laying it on the line.
Yep.
Nobody's running around here in pride. Hey, brother, I ain't going to tell you how I did that. 'Cause you just got to figure it out on your own. Or ain't nobody shining. Like, I ain't running here talking about, hey, man, I got that premier HOQ wine from New Zealand while y'all drinking on Slits Malt Liquor Bull or something. It ain't none of that stuff. We just real men just enjoying one another.
Enjoying my vinegar.
That preserves.
I drink it every day.
It's apple cider vinegar.
I
Yep.
literally drink it every day. It's wonderful.
Y'all ladies ready?
Yeah, are y'all ready for the sister? I know. You know what's gonna happen. As soon as the sisters leave, our number's gonna go from 45 to 3.
And we understand.
We get it.
They probably on a rocket ship. Hey, they might have old boy numbers. You know, he up in the 20,000
Oh.
as soon as he gets started. When the women get on, we know how y'all act.
Yep.
It's cool. We ain't offended. They got good stuff to tell y'all too.
Yep.
Y'all know the topic tonight, right? The real
ones.
most just are. I'm sure y'all can speak to that.
All right, Shalom. We'll be back. No, you can do it right now. Right now. Just do it right now.
I don't want to offend nobody. These biscuits and jelly. Biscuits and jelly.
All right, you're not seeing. Everybody on that, yeah. So you two can't be seen. I'm telling y'all, you can't be seen.
Yes, I was waiting for her to finish because they moved the chair down so we can scoot it over. Yeah. I can't. Like, I need to move the scooter.
Yes, Tracy, if you scoot over.
Brother don't call him.
Is that Ben?
Hey, brother Ben Yehuda.
Yep.
52.
That's what's up. That's how they do. That's how folks do, man.
You okay?
You can let them know that Ebony's taking care of some business.
Yes, master. We just be close.
All right, y'all can go ahead and shoot. Doing the introductions?
Sure. Shalom, everybody. Sister T.
Shalom, I'm Sister Sky from the House of David Burdett.
Shalom, I'm Sister Nina from the House of David Burdett.
Shalom, I'm Sister Key from HOQ.
Shalom, I'm Tracy, rib of Frank Stockton.
Shalom, I'm Sister Amy from HOQ.
Shalom, I'm Sister Robinique from Ronnie Raider's house.
Shalom, I'm Sister Lydia. And a shalom from Sister Ebony. Right now, she is busy taking care of some business.
Hallelujah. Yo, man.
Shalom, Sister Jasmine Fly. Shalom, Lisa McKinney.
Oh, y'all better start. Shoot.
So we're going to talk about what we see in sisters who aren't real. Hit on. Right? All right. So I'll open it up. What do we see in sisters that we meet and women that we meet that either want to be a wife or they're claiming to be a wife, and we would just have to conclude that they are probably not real. I will say whenever they're asking their question, the question's usually pretty indirect and they don't even hem-haw or get around to an exact question. And once you start to answer, the first thing out of their mouth is, yeah, but. They've already kind of got their mind made up about what they want to hear, when they want to hear it, and they're not really interested in hearing from you, but they're very interested in talking about themselves. I think that's something that I've seen that is a hindrance to receiving instruction, which is a really major job qualification of what we do.
Hey, what do y'all do? What is y'all's jobs?
To support our master's vision.
What if he's blind?
God has still given him a vision. Whether he can see it blindly in the physical or not, he still has a vision if he is truly a man of Yah.
I think I like Sister Nina here has the book plus nothing, and like when our master's teaching us, and we're getting down to the point where he said, you have to choose what you're going to do and live by that. So if it's the book, then you just have to believe what the book says, whether you're with a man who is blind, whether you're with a man who's actively following Yah, because you never know what's going to happen, but you just got to believe what the words are saying. And I think as our understanding kind of opens up more, you can kind of see things start to pan out. If the man is truly about following Yah and he's blind for the moment, then things will work itself out. But you still have to believe as well, as our master tell us, y'all not living off of my belief. You have to also be believing and believe what I'm teaching you and believe what this word is saying. So if we do that, then things will change over time. But it ain't going to change with us saying anything to them or trying to be our master's Holy Spirit or trying to direct our master's relationship with Yah as if we have the answers. So I think that's where the point that we're at. We just got to believe the book, and it kind of gives us instructions. If you have an unbelieving husband or you have a believing husband who's kind of lost, but he's believing, then you just got to believe too and believe what that word says. Be quiet and be the best example of what the book says a wife is as you can be. And let things fall into place from there.
I would say at the end of the day, we're going to always be responsible for our actions. Even if your master is still growing in some areas, you're not going to be responsible for what he's not doing. You're going to be responsible for following him and your thoughts and your actions towards him.
Anybody else?
I would say many women or wives say they know the word, they've read it, but the problem is there is no practice. We are not walking it out. So that is a must. So when we say, yeah, we believe the book, we believe what it says, but we are not walking it out, we lied, and we're no help to our husband or master.
I have a question. I heard someone talking about the vision of God. So, from a ribs perspective, how often would y'all think that vision changes? Let's say a big vision, a big change. Yah's told you to go to an area, start a homestead, do this whole process is coming out. How often does that change?
So question was, how often do we think the vision changes that the man brings forth?
I don't think if Yah has given them a vision, I don't think the vision in and of itself changes. So if he's giving them, go to this location, start here, there may be things that happen, or you may have to apply the information the right way. You may make errors and things, but the vision in and of itself, from what I've learned, or from the little level of knowledge I have, I don't believe it changes. I think the vision remains the same. Variables may change.
So what if I move to my homestead and face some kind of adversity, you see that at some form or another? Does that constitute a change of vision? I mean, I don't know. Brothers seem to miss this stuff, so I was just curious if the sisters get it.
Woo!
Y'all, I think y'all have a lot more sound understanding than a lot of brothers out here.
To speak to that, I would say that your vision starts with foundation, just as well as building a house. Your foundation is the book. The book never changes. He's the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. Therefore, when you've given your vision, Yah has given you a foundation to that vision. The foundation of that will never change because he never changes. The colors of the walls, the wallpaper, maybe the accessories might change, but the foundation will never change in that.
So y'all saying if Yah, because that we got these sisters out here who say things like, Yah sent me to you when it comes to a man. Are you saying that Yah didn't change his mind and be like, I made a mistake. I really didn't send you to him. I had somebody else for you.
No, Master. No, Master. I think the sisters are surprised, as I was. I think sisters or women are surprised when they join or become part of a Israelite man's home. That they're surprised at how much discipline you need to have. They're surprised that the men are not moved by your body parts, and they're surprised that they're not moved by your sweet words and games, and they're surprised that you can't manipulate them the way you've done before in your past. That's what surprises them. So they're like, well, I thought he was going to be this way and that way. But that's not what you asked for. You asked for a man of Yah, and if Yah's directing that, then you got a man of Yah, and really all the sweet words or the manipulation, all those things, that's not what you need. That's not going to help you grow. All of that stuff is just the same things we see in Christianity and so on. So I think that's what they're surprised by, and then they're like, well, maybe this is not the right man. So you then, at that point, you're not asking for a man of Yah, you're asking for a man that you can control, because that's what we've done, and that's what we know to do. And that's what our parents have taught us, and that's what the generations before us taught us, is we need men that we can control, or we need men that's going to give in to us when we feel some sort of way, or we want something, and those sort of things.
Some of those women also come with their own vision. And instead of
Mm.
following
Woo!
their husband's vision or the man who Yah has sent them to, they're trying to run their own agenda. And that's why they end up inevitably leaving or saying, this isn't who Yah really intended for me. Because if you're going into a man's household, you have to be ready to not only follow his vision, but to believe in that vision. So if you're not ready to do that, that fantasy that you built up in your mind of how it's going to be is going to instantly crumble.
Yes.
Y'all speak on that a little bit. Women coming in men's households with their own vision.
From the perspective again, so when we're talking about we love the real ones, but most just aren't. Husbands and wives. So both aspects of it. Are these women real wives who come in with this perspective or desire to run their own program? What does that look like? Because a lot of times y'all see that bullshit faster than brothers.
Man.
Y'all see this stuff faster than they do. So maybe speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, because they see it, women will see it in the man. They'll be like, he bullshitting. From jump.
Right.
He come, speaking this, I got a vision. And she come in like, well, I'm going to do this. He's like, okay, we can do that instead. The weak men. How many of y'all like weak men? Just, the real flamsy. His hand hangs down.
Be honest, 'cause we being real now.
Right, we being real. If you like some sissy men.
No.
Soft hands. What if he brings you some flowers every Friday?
It becomes monotonous, and you no longer appreciate it because it's happening so routinely.
Okay, what if it's Thursday next
I don't
week?
care.
Okay, what about Wednesday?
Too often. Those things have to be sporadic, just with anything else in life. Anything that starts to happen, and you can, set your clock by it, you start to not appreciate a lot of those things, especially when they're supposed to be gestures of love or appreciation. Now it's just lip service.
I think that sets up expectations because now when he doesn't do it, then now your face is tore all up because you hadn't got any roses or flowers or anything.
Damn.
It's also a bit of vanity. Yah-fearing man with a direction and a vision would bring you seed because he would expect you to take that and do something with it. That would be a little more biblical.
Man. He buying you flowers but can't come out of her because he spent them all on flowers.
Flowers or shoes and
Nails and
all of that. Not being real.
for real. Men spending hundreds, thousands of dollars a year on upkeep for his wife, and yet can't leave, can't get out, can't obey the scriptures and what it says come out of her, because he's spending money trying to buy her the newest truck every year.
Can't afford to come out.
She can't afford to come out.
I believe there's a fear or some kind of battle a woman may go through with dealing with a man who is sincerely trying to, or he is coming out. When he's dealing with, there's that change being made. She's used to having the nails done, and now you're going to go, well, we're going to be planting. And that the facial expressions start like, what? Me? I haven't touched her. Or guess what? We're not buying all those new pumps and Jordans and whatever else it may be. She's no longer happy because he has come to knowledge and truth. Now the fights, I don't believe this is the man y'all wants me to be with, begin to happen because inside herself, all she saw was, hey, those dollar signs versus, hey, this is a man who truly loves me. He's willing to rebuke me when I am in the wrong so that I can move back and get in line. that's too hard for some because you become comfortable and complacent.
I saw it in the statement, but I'm pretty sure they meant it as a question. If y'all could please speak up.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. We ain't taking commands on it.
Y'all can speak freely on anything y'all want to talk about.
Hey, Burtis, we ever had some trials and tribulations on the homestead?
Yes, sir.
Does that mean it was time for us to pack up and head west? Y'all must have changed it wrong, or I got the location wrong, or any of this other foolishness. Let's sell the land and go look for a new piece, because tribulation happened over here, a trial.
No, sir. Each trial or tribulation or setback or death or unexpected event that has taken place on our homestead is part of the refining ground. We see it as something that strengthens us because we overcome it. I mean, it's part of the whole point is that we be overcoming things, be able to be self-reliable, self-responsible for our lives and so on. So anytime something would pop up, it became a problem-solving activity, not a red flag or an indicator that we were on the wrong path and should turn around. We understand that Yah's vision is singular. The man is representative of that. Therefore, we believe that the man is singular and the direction that he goes is singular. So there's absolutely no turning back.
I hit on this stuff because people need to hear it.
They do need to
Let's
hear
turn
this.
off playing games. We need to.
Our first year on the rock, actually everything was a trial. From the time we seemed to step on the property, it seemed like a lot of stuff started to go wrong, and we could have.
Wait, we got to pause. That must have been the rock at California.
No, sir.
No?
No.
That
No.
was the rock at Arizona.
No, sir.
You mean right here?
Right here where we are now.
And y'all still here?
Yes, sir.
Y'all
We
didn't
still here.
like send y'all around the mountain some more, or
Nope.
No.
you know, reveal that he had changed, or you missed location, or none of that.
Nope.
No. No, sir. In
Wow.
fact, sometimes it was so hard here that when we hear of other people's like stories and stuff, like we hear people like going to hotels because they can't handle it or doing other things, like we stayed right here and said this is part of it and we're going to go through it. And one of the things that we always talked about is when you hit kind of rock bottom, you know Yah sent you there, you start from the ground floor and he's refining you, you only could go up from there. So that first year was the toughest year, but we only went up from there. And we didn't run. We didn't go to a hotel.
The first one that was cold, y'all was shivering on a YouTube video he made. Y'all didn't go and find a warm electric blanket at a hotel and a butler service and all that stuff and hot beds and everything?
No, none of that. We used the blankets that we had, and actually our master checked to see how cold it gets here and said, well, then that means we need to get more blankets, and that's what we used. And we just did whatever we could, whether we all got in the bed together, and we had a wood-burning stove, so that helped. But we went through everything together. We stayed right here. And we weren't going to waste, as our master said, we're not wasting money to run from what our experience is supposed to be. It's part of it. All of that is part of the process, so we just went through it. If we had to change our eating habits, we just changed them. And we was forced to a degree for a time, to change what we were eating, and we just did it. And we just said, this is just for a time and a season. Things will change. You only could go up from here, and it did.
And that's why some women don't last as wives, because the moment something happens where it seems just a little uncomfortable, they're ready to go in a different direction. But if you are truly in it for the right reasons and with the right spirit and the right heart of it all, then no matter what happens, you're going to already know that there is no plan B. So don't come out with your mind set up that if this doesn't work or if this is uncomfortable, then I can go do this. No, there is no if. You're coming, you're doing it, and no matter what happens, you're still following your master, because in the end, anything that becomes a trial or a tribulation is just to make you stronger. It's to teach you a lesson, or it's to help you be a better support to your master. So coming out with the attitude that, oh, well, if it gets a little cold, we'll just, go get another electric heater when you've got one solar panel that's just enough energy to charge your master's phone in case of an emergency is the wrong idea to have.
Woo.
You really should expect to come out of the city and then spend even a year or two coming out of her inside your own self. As you learn to do without, your value increases. You're not diminished because you gave something up. You are elevated because you gave up and you continued anyway.
You feel stronger in the end. Look what I overcame. Look what Yah has brought me through. Look what my master has accomplished. You start to look back, as even for us, we've not been out a full year yet. But I remember in the first couple of months, because it was my first summer out without AC, without all those luxuries, I kept saying, man, it seems like we've been here forever. We haven't quite gotten where I envisioned we would be. And my master would say, but we're going to keep going, and we've got this, and we're better today than we were yesterday. So if we were better today than we were yesterday, then that means we're making progress. So then you just keep your head up and continue to tell yourself that every morning you wake up. I made it another day. I'm better than I was yesterday, and I've learned something that I didn't know last week. So that means we're still moving forward.
And then you learn what you can live without, because that's another thing. Our master decided before we left California, or when we knew we were leaving California, he said, I'm only getting a trailer this big, and this whatever could fit in there, that's what we're taking everything we're leaving behind. And I don't think we were necessarily liking the stuff we left behind. We're like, man, we could have used this. And Arizona was the same way. Some stuff stayed in our storage for a year, and we realized we must not need that bad because we didn't go back and get it. And then when we came out here, we lost part of the stuff because things were just different. And then you just realize, well, then I guess we just don't need this stuff because we learned to live without it. And then we didn't go rebuy the things. Like, we knew what we needed to buy again, and we knew that was important. But really, majority of the stuff we never rebought, and we realized we don't need it. You only need it because you're in a city and there's nothing to do, and you're using things to make yourself feel good or entertain you. But really, when you live this way, you don't need a lot. You can make a lot out of what you have already. And so we realized all that stuff we have, it was just vanity. It was just we just bought it just because, and it just sat there and it wasted away. It didn't serve a purpose.
Agreed.
I think we have to go through some of those hard things just to get stuff out of us and allow us to learn what we need to learn and to be in the place we need to be.
Yes, I would definitely agree with Sister Amy there. Being the newer one in my master's household, it wasn't so much of that physical coming out. I had to learn that coming from the world to truth, that I had mental and spiritual issues. Pride, expectations, thinking I was entitled to certain things, making excuses. And really, I'm still working, especially on that pride one. That's a big problem. That exaggerated thought that you know more when you really don't. So there's a lot that has to be worked on, especially when it comes to wives. If you're entering a new home, know what it is that you are coming in with and that you need to work on. Or before you get there to that household, understand, you've probably picked up a lot of things that you do not need from the world. That is not going to be a benefit to your new household, your husband. And in that, if you still want to hold on to those things, that husband will not be able to use you.
Ooh, she said a word there. She said the word use. But we're going to go back to that one. We have a question. We're going to hit that. Use. Man. Well done, H.J. said, and he did get all of our permission. Shalom, sisters. Single brother here. Question, if I can. What do you expect a man to have already, i.e., land, credit, money, etc. So what do you all expect a man to have before you would, or your husbands, if you were looking at them now, what would you expect them to have before you entered their house?
A vision.
A vision with fruit,
A plan.
even if it is little fruit, but there is fruit so that I can see the progress that he's made, and he's gonna be about it and not just talk about it, because anybody can talk a good game, but what have you really done? If you're in an apartment and you say you want a wife, are you already storing food? Do you have land picked out? Have you put a deposit on this land? What have you already done? Or are you just sitting there talking about what you're going to do and you've done nothing?
I agree. I think his stuff, whatever his stuff is, if it is money or credit or possessions or whatever, his stuff has to line up with what he's talking about. If that vision is to go XYZ direction, then all the things that he has spent his time and money on have to point towards that direction. Otherwise, he himself is showing some degree of schizophrenia to say, I'm gonna this, and someday I'm gonna this, but all of his stuff is really loaded in the opposite direction.
I agree. A vision and a plan of how you're going to accomplish that. And like she said, at least some fruit showing that you move in that direction. And kind of, I want to know what you're involved in, what type of things you possess and don't possess. Because if you're like saying, oh, I'm going to move to land, and oh, I'm going to homestead, but then you have no items of homesteading in your home, or you didn't purchase any, you have no weapons, you just have nothing like that, but you have video games and things like that, then it doesn't look like you're moving to a homestead to me. You don't have food stores, it don't look like you're trying to store food to me.
What if he's spiritual homesteading?
I don't even believe that's something that is.
What if the Spirit told him that he is homesteading in the Spirit?
Well, then who is the Spirit? What Spirit is that? Is speaking to him?
It's the Spirit.
His Spirit?
The Spirit. They don't ever say which one it is. They just said the Spirit.
I'd run as fast as I could in the opposite direction.
How about this? Do you want a man that's so overly spiritual, always in the book and praying and fasting, that he is unable to ever produce physical fruit? What if he's in the Word and you wake up in the morning, he's in the Word from 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock, and he's got work at 12, but the Spirit, he was in the Spirit, and he missed work and got fired. Is that cool?
No.
Y'all's not dumb.
Well, I've heard these things before. Y'all heard these stories where the men be like, I was in the Spirit, and my wife is not happy because I was just in the Spirit and I missed work. He's in the Spirit.
So he has no means to work out this vision, whatever that vision is, no means at all. And how is he taking care of that household now?
With the Spirit?
Oh, so when he gets that eviction letter, that's from the Spirit too.
That's because the devil's coming after him.
Oh, self-deception.
Right. He's gonna be spiritually hungry and spiritually homeless.
No.
Right.
But we can spiritually eat with him. No. I don't know what we eat. Wish sandwiches, I guess. Peanut butter and jelly.
During unleavened bread.
The Spirit tell people to do a bunch of stuff. Eat biscuits and gravy during unleavened bread. It's probably the same Spirit. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Yes, sir. Hot pocket.
Donuts. All right, what do y'all think about the Word? Well done. I hope that answered your question. Do y'all want to add anything else that you think a man should have or be in the process of doing before you would consider him as far as marriage?
That seeking out that land, if he has the land already, is he setting up that home? Is he setting up gardens? What is he doing? if he's not doing these things and you just have land,
He's waiting on the other brothers to come.
Right.
well,
That puts him in the weak man category.
I was just
So
saying.
what if he has what if he has land and he has not moved on to it yet and has no plan to move on to it?
Again, weak man category.
And if he's waiting on other brothers and they are like, yeah, we do polygyny, maybe might need to look elsewhere.
Y'all are brutal. All right, what do y'all think about the word use? Is your husband to use you?
Yes.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
You use a tool. That's his possession, so we're his possessions. So I think that's the same thing.
Is that any way he sees fit, or any way you see fit?
No, any way he sees fit.
Uh-oh.
So what kind of condition, how would you rate the tool that he doesn't really like and doesn't really use? What condition is that tool usually found in versus this tool that he utilizes often?
The one that he doesn't use is probably rusty, or parts are missing, or it maybe fell under the table and got lost in the shuffle, or it could be a number of things that tool would look like.
Right. And if that tool is realizing that, and not just like, oh, well, I get to sit pretty over here, which is self-deception. No, Rusty is not. It's been rained on. That tool better rethink what she's doing, because there's a reason why he is not utilizing that specific tool.
Damn.
I would say, if you take a knife gets dull. So if that's the case for her, she needs to go back and get resharpened so she could be useful again.
And just to keep it real, two of the greatest assets that a woman has is her brain and her uterus, so you would hope that he uses them both.
Woo! Are we talking about the S word?
I don't know any other way to access the uterus.
So are you saying that sex is part of the wife's use?
Absolutely biblical for sex to be part of the wife's use to the husband.
Just to get her pregnant, though, right?
Probably not. No. I mean, I guess he could do that and he'd be fulfilling part of it, but there's a whole lot more involved anatomically that the Lord put there, so it would seem just and right to get the fullness thereof.
Back to the truck for the Most High.
Even in that, why would you have something in your possession that you're not going to use? What's the purpose?
Damn.
It's just going to be taking up resources that
Oh man.
are going
That could go to
to
something else.
waste.
Eventually gets, well, I don't think I'm gonna let this tool hang around anymore.
Yep. That's what happens. Or you lose the tool and you don't care you lost it.
Right.
You're just like, oh, I didn't need that wrench anymore. I got a better one. It's gone, I guess. Then when you find it, you're kind of pissed off. You're like, I don't need you no more. Because a lot of women have an angst when they hear the word use. He ain't using me. We using each other. We are. Are you a dude too? Because I'm not down for that homo stuff.
Put your penis in.
So it's not offensive to y'all at all. The word use, he's using you.
No, it just means to make productive. And if you look in Ecclesiasticus, the direction of a woman, the end of a woman is hopefully to become aged, and that is actually when she has her beauty. It's not truly in her youth, it's when she gets to the other end. Beauty is in the aged woman's face.
Yes.
She gets more valuable.
It's an old song that says something like, use it till you're satisfied.
Man.
No, that's ain't your household.
You be strutting with that music.
You already signed up, Jack.
So I hope those of you sisters that are married and maybe you hear that word and your body tightens up, or if you're a single woman and you hear that word and your body tightens up, why would you want to be, as a man, I see being used by Yah as the most important thing in my life. I want him to use me because when he doesn't use me, then I'm not needed. I'm replaceable. He chastens them whom he loves. And he's chastening me because he cares about me. So part of even a woman's use may be correction. And I know that that word correction or rebuke is something that is slanderous to women, just like submission.
Removing the spots and the wrinkles and the blemishes.
Yes.
Knocking the rust off.
One more thing, ladies, in Proverbs it says, wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and in all thy getting, get understanding. So before you find offense with the word use, understand exactly what that means and where it comes from. If you don't understand it, then there's something in you that maybe needs to be worked on or tweaked, because a lot of times certain words have been made ugly when they were never meant to be ugly. The Bible says that in the last days that the good will be made bad and the bad will be made good. That would be an example of that.
And more than likely you have problems with the word use because you were misused already. Either by your father or younger than that or something like that. It's because you just don't know what it is to be valuable and to be used in a good way and to feel the satisfaction and confidence from doing that under a man's instructions. So don't jack with the word. Let that come out of you and be converted over to the truth of what the words really mean.
Hallelujah. Sister Kanisha said, rather be used than to sit idle. And then Sister Lisa McKinney said, I am honored to be used by my husband.
Hallelujah.
It's a blessing. Woo. All right, well done. Ask another question. He said, can you clarify what it is for a man to have a vision? That may be a better question for the men to answer than for the sisters to answer. HOQ asks, are wives or women possessions of their master or husband?
Yes.
I got a question? I'm ready.
Can I tie that in real quick? The word modest. All right, so if you go into definitions of what the word modest means, we have heard it talked about in this faith that women wear head coverings and they wear long skirts, and this can be misused and so on in the name of modesty, so that our bodies are covered and any type of thing that a man would see is reserved for our husbands and not just general public. But if you look into what modesty means, right there in the definition, let's say Webster's 1828, you can go there, you can go back to the Hebrew. You have possession right there in the word modesty. You have ownership, you have the proper use thereof in being modest. So modest is not just the way that we dress, but that's wonderful if you want to cover up, and we appreciate that.
That's the outside of the cup.
That is the outside of the cup. So to be dressed in modest apparel is also referring to how you think of your own self. Primarily, you show your possession and ownership of that man having over you by the way you use your mouth. It is the correct use of your words. Find that definition and let the fullness of all of that come out, so that when we have modesty about us, it's not our head covering and our dress. That's a symbol of what we've already submitted to inside of ourselves. Because that's where the beauty and age comes from. It's that modesty really working over in you completely.
Any other questions before we let the ribs get back to enjoying the Feast of Unleavened Bread?
Is that it?
That's it.
All righty.
Good job, sister.
Thank you, sister.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Woo! Woo! That's what's up. It's cold. No doubt, man. Cold ain't even the word, man. Man.
Brother Frank, this spot next to Brother Arent, you can get seen. Hallelujah.
You're just making some adjustments so everybody can get comfortable.
Yep. We'll have a light coming soon. Yeah, you're good. You're good. Yeah.
All right. It's all good. Hey, I'm going to get one.
A director's chair?
Yeah, I'm going to get a director's
That'd be
chair.
sweet. Woo, hallelujah.
Doing well, my brother. How about yourself?
We truly hope that was a blessing for y'all. Yeah. It's a blessing for us. I'll let y'all know from my perspective. Homesteads don't get built by rebellious women.
Nope. Just don't happen.
No, I'd rather be by myself than to be out here with a rebellious woman.
Absolutely.
Man. So what do you think it means for a man to have a vision, brothers? I had a dream. Not that.
What is it that you walk away from reading this book, believing and understanding that the Father has for you to do in your life? I don't mean who you work for. I mean, what is it that He has called you to do with your life?
And that's not given to you, brothers, by your pastor or elders.
Yes, sir.
That vision that is given to you by the Father is given to you by the Father.
Yes, sir.
Yah gives you that vision. And if you get your vision from your leader, then who gave you that vision?
The leader.
The leader did. Not the Father.
When I think about vision, I think about Yah giving a man a direction in which he wants his family to go. That includes location. That includes, his legacy, the foundation, the building blocks of what his family is going to, number one, what they're going to believe, what they're going to live, what they're going to produce. And that's generationally, not just one time.
I wonder if that vision is always, or at least often, very similar to what we see in the book. The vision that those who have come and gone before us, how did they live?
Yes, sir.
I think it's the same. Very close, very similar.
Yes, sir.
They're producing their, not living their lives in such a way that when, if the Father chooses, okay, this area right now is now going to, their cup is full. They're going to now reap what they have sown. Your life should be lived in such a way that we'll all be affected by it, but it should be minimalized. You should not be equally affected as if you were living right there amongst them.
Right.
Because it's, that's his word.
That is. And women, you have to start choosing men that have a vision that they can articulate.
Yes.
Instead of choosing a man that is, he's got no vision. He's got no direction. He's got no plan.
His only vision or plan is polygyny. That's actually not a vision nor a plan.
We were just talking about that earlier, that the faith has, I'm going to be honest, I don't talk to a lot of people in the faith anymore, so-called in the faith anymore. And the reason is because somehow the faith has turned into polygyny. Or some hyper-spiritual name change, all these things that you don't read in the book. Men have made polygyny the whole focal point of the faith. It's the new, the new catchphrase, the new,
nation building.
Nation building, right?
It's almost like polygyny is the new deliverance.
Yes,
right.
Yes, sir. That's some people's financial plan. That's some men's financial plan.
He's not lying.
They only want to get a select group of women so that they can finance their so-called vision.
Yes.
Which is basically reading the scripture to them all day. Yeah, polygyny is not the cornerstone of the faith.
No, it's not.
It's just a part of it, but it's not the foundational pillar of the faith.
Mm-hmm.
I see two similarities there. Brothers either want to use polygyny to afford their vision being fulfilled, or B, have some sort of come-up scheme where I'm gonna have other brothers come in and we'll give it a different label, but I'll just call it for what it is. They'll be servants.
Yep.
And then I'll sit back where basically they take the place of the wives in a polygynous situation.
Yes, sir.
Of that aspect of the come-up scheme, but it's all still the same come-up scheme.
Still same thing.
And then they're offended when they come around and we're like, no, that's not how we roll. That's not how we operate. We live the book.
We don't have this all things in common gibberish where we all just share the same tractor. Each one of us men runs individual homesteads. Individual homesteads. So you're not looking at, we're all living on the land with Brother David. We're all living on the land with Brother Andre, Brother Frank, Brother Ronnie, or myself. You are looking at five individual men who run their houses, their lands, based on the vision the Most High Yah gave each one of us individually. My vision wasn't to meet Brother David. My vision was to serve Yah, to live this life, and to go at it with 100%. But because I was real, and then Brother David was real, and Brother Andre was real, and Brother Frank was real, and Brother Ronnie was real, guess what y'all did?
The same thing.
The same thing. Brought us all together. Not under some banner of some community name or ministry name, but under the banner of Yah.
Yes, sir.
Under him, under his law, his Torah. And that concept sounds so different As Brother David said, it's because men be practicing pseudo-polygyny by this whole community thing.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to have multiple men who are wives on my land serving me, giving me their money, and I'll give them money as I see fit to run their households.
And we're not saying that servants is a bad thing. But we are saying it because I'm going to just be honest. One day, I may have servants.
Mm-hmm.
But my vision wasn't built on, I'm going to start off with servants. They're going to facilitate building everything at Shalom, and hey, we'll have it made in the shade, family. No, that's when you come to a crossroad, because the homestead is growing to a point to where you need more help.
Yes.
And the more help is beyond your children, because your children may have not grown to, they might not be full-grown men.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They might still be infants or whatever the case is.
Yes. And I think in reality, a lot of men really trip out in the idea when they see things like this, the five of us together, because you know what they want to ask? Who's your leader?
Who's the leader?
Who's your elder?
It always goes.
It always goes to that.
My authority starts and ends at Mothland.
Yes, sir.
Mine starts and ends here at the Rock.
Mine at Shalom.
Mine of reality.
Mine at blessing.
You hear that? Reality, blessings, Mothland, Shalom, and the Rock. That's where our authority begins and ends. My authority does not go through this screen into any man's home. We're just hoping that you see it that same way. Stop ducking. Stop hiding.
Who makes the rules?
I mean, y'all make the rules, and I make my rules within his rules.
There it is.
I make the rules for my property. So, if people look, this is what I'm just saying. Y'all see on the channel, my wives wear chokers. If you don't like it, I don't care. My rules extend in my house. I don't do it so that, nor do I change the rule and say, hey, take them off when we go on live stream so that the people don't see you. That's my rule. I live by it. And if you're part of a camp ministry and you don't like it, I don't give a damn if you don't like it. Because you got the people on your lands in their own personal chokers. With ball gags. Nipple clamps.
Yep.
And that's even, I think that's interesting that you said that, because even us men, when we came out to your property, I guess people just don't know etiquette. Proper home training. I already know that I'm my own man, but once I come up on another brother's land and I respect his customs, his traditions, or whatever he has in line, his laws and principles that he has in line with his land. I don't come here doing my own thing. I pull up and I just start a forest fire at my own personal campsite.
Right.
I'm over here flipping pork chops and spare ribs and grilling out when we're all eating together at my own camp. I just don't do that kind of stuff. I adhere to what that guy is doing. And I'm being funny about it, but I'm just saying we all adhere to the rules of where we're at. We govern ourselves. Y'all know that in the church they said, govern yourselves accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do as men. We respect one another's laws on that brother's land.
And if I can't respect the laws on your land, guess what I ain't doing?
Respect Yah's laws or any other laws.
Right.
Yep.
I won't respect any other laws. So Brother David says, on my land, you have to do the running man every morning. If I know that, I'm going to do the running man. Or I'm just not going to go. Because I might throw my knee out. Brother David, I might throw my knee out if I do the running man. Can I do the cabbage patch instead? Brother, you can do the cabbage patch. Thank you, Brother David. But I don't go to his land and try to change it.
I'm offended because you didn't let me do shooting practice.
Man, that's been the number one thing.
That has been hurtful.
In the past few feast days, brothers get turned up about.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't shoot. When are we going to shoot? Why didn't we shoot? I brought my guns. Well, that's fine, but who said that was a guarantee?
Right. Uh-oh, we got a question, but I can't pronounce the name. Halak Chakma Ahwar says, what's the purpose of the chokers biblically? They have no biblical purpose. Did I break the law by having them on my wives?
No, sir.
Absolutely not.
If the answer is no, then there's the answer. See, here's how I see Yah's law. It's a big field. And in that field, Yah has a law. He says, don't go outside these fences or you break my law. But inside this field, you can do what it is that you choose to do. Now, it's not all things are for all men. Everything is lawful, but not
necessarily expedient.
Not expedient. Oh, you said you're just curious. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He said it right there. I want y'all to listen to what he said. For all you who are in the stream right now, listen to what he said. Where there is no law, there is no sin. Listen to what he said. Where there is no law, there is no, he is absolutely right.
100%.
That's 100% it. So if you have, and we've said this recently, like Jonah. When y'all told Jonah to go to Nineveh, he didn't tell everybody in the faith to go to Nineveh and preach. He told Jonah to go to Nineveh and preach.
Right.
So that's a personal command for Jonah. Therefore, if you say, well, y'all told me in the spirit, then nigga, you need to obey it. But don't come and try to tell somebody else you're not supposed to be eating chicken. Because y'all show.
Y'all told me you can't eat chicken. Okay, and that has absolutely nothing to do with me.
Nothing. Y'all told me that, your beard is supposed to go down to the ground. Well, then, if y'all told you that, then you better obey.
Right.
That don't mean that he needs me to go and tell everybody else that, because he didn't tell them that. And he didn't put it in his law. So y'all may give you a law that you are to keep, but it don't mean it's for everybody else's. When y'all said, go to the rock, he didn't say every nigga out there go to the rock. He told me to come here. That was my command, and I obeyed. So where there is, just as the brother said, where there is no law, there is no sin. So you can try to judge all you want to, or the people who you're not understanding it in the spirit. Well, dude, stop. That shit's so annoying. You don't understand his perfect will. Well, neither do you, apparently. Because if his perfect will was for us to go all the way back to Genesis, then I better see everybody running around naked. Naked vegetarians. No problems during childbirth, no pains at all. This is why we hate religion. He said, what is a choker? A choker is something that women wear around their neck. It's something that women wear around their neck. But Halak Chakma Ahwar, thank you for the comment. I think she's behind the stream.
Okay.
So she's still responding to when the sisters were on. Yeah. Yeah. What do y'all think about what the wives are saying?
Oh man, it was on point. All the way down there, I thought I heard Sister Sky mention something about being a possession. Even the husband owns your mouth.
Oh, I missed. Oh, I was going. Damn.
Did she say that? That's powerful.
Damn.
Because that controls words. That controls actually what you do with it as well. What you physically do with that mouth.
Man.
For those that will have a problem with all that.
Yep. And what words?
Yeah,
when you're speaking, the words that you're speaking should represent your head, your master, your husband. You shouldn't be speaking your own words. Just like people always say, you shouldn't be speaking your own words when it comes to us as men. Right, I agree. We should be speaking the words of Yah.
Yes, sir.
That don't mean that we just run around talking about scripture and verse,
Right.
chapter and verse, chapter and verse, chapter and verse. But likewise, wives, you should be speaking your husband's words. What are your husband's words? If you don't even know them, how can you speak them? If you're constantly rebelling against your husband, how could you ever possibly know his words?
You would.
You wouldn't. But you're just speaking your own words. Theo Water said naked vegetarians. Yep, naked vegetarians. We'd all be naked vegetarians. If we went back to if we wanted to go how it was in the beginning.
During the feast days, this is a perfect time to hit the reset button. The reset button on your religion, your false doctrine, your belief systems, and just open up the book and read it and live it. Perfect time.
We always get the questions, brother, can we do this? Can we do that? And the answer is always simple. What does the book say?
Right, sir.
What does the book say? If the book don't say it, and I choose not to do it,
that's right for you.
That's right for me. It doesn't mean that you have to not do it.
Right.
I had a brother, with all respect, come to me and say, hey, brother, can I do this? Because he did it. And I said, sure, you can do it. Why? Because although it may be a law for me not to do, a personal law, why would I put that on somebody else? Brother, that's got to be your law too. No, it don't.
Yes, sir.
No, it don't. In my law, we wear muscle shirts. That's it. I don't care how cold it is.
Right. Or how tight they are, small.
Or how small they are. It's medium.
Right.
You want to get pneumonia? Go ahead. Not me. Not me.
So we're always pushing you men and you sisters back to truly living the book. Back to the book. You say you love it. You say you'll obey. Then why can't you just do what the book says? Plus nothing.
I think, man, everyone really, like you said, there's brothers and sisters, but I just talk to the brothers often, so that's where I hear it. Brothers making these statements. Oh, I'll do anything for the Most High. It wouldn't matter what it is, I'll do it. But then yet the most plain and simply stated things will just blast through. Fail to adhere to any of it. But I'll do everything or anything for the Most High. But not that.
Brother, I put it down for the Most High.
And they think that's impressive.
Nope.
And who are we to impress?
Right.
You should be trying to impress the Father.
Say that again.
You should be trying to impress the Most High. Who are we to impress?
Why in your mind do you feel the need to impress us? Right. We on the same, we're supposedly on the same path. Apparently you ain't on that path.
Right.
But we just walking this thing out.
I'm not eating cheeseburgers during the 11th bread. I'm just not. To the best of my knowledge and ability, I'm just not letting it happen. Or anything else, Levin. I'm just not. And nor am I I'm not only thinking about the Feast of Unleavened Bread during that week. We're preparing for that weeks in advance. Well in advance of it. So that the time that it arrives, there's absolutely no way that something like that should ever happen. Not if Yah is giving you the ability to be in your right mind.
Right.
There's no reason for it.
You're right, brother.
I have a question for the people in the chat. How many of you truly believe the Bible for what it says? Not your adding to it, or your pastor, or your elder, or your favorite teacher, your more, your achach. How many truly just believe the book for what it says? Because it'd be really hard to deceive somebody. It'd be really hard to deceive you if you just truly believe the book. and said, well, the book says it, therefore it is.
Right. What will prohibit you from erring on the side of caution, not just erring on, that's okay, y'all forgive me.
Yep.
Just being presumptuous.
It's a lot of I do's. I believe.
Bro, Jay Morris said, I'm still learning though. And I think that's where we all are.
Absolutely.
As you learn, you know, that's one of the important things though, is that as you learn, you do it. But, brother, you're in that rare group of people that read the book and simply will do what it says, minus all the additives. Mm-hmm. The law is perfect. The word will not go out void. Sister Jasmine from the House of Booth said, that's the beauty of it. We do not any other book. There's no secret interpretation of the Bible that you can't get because you're just too damn stupid. Sound like the slave master during slavery times. Nigga, you can't read. Let's get this man that can read,
Right.
put him in front of y'all, and convince all of y'all to submit to us. And that's really what it is today. Whether it be the Roman traditional Christian church or in the faith today. It's, let's read the book to you. Let's get these people up here to read the book to you. Good house Negroes. Let's get some good house niggas up there. And they're going to buck, jive, and dance and sing the praises of their leaders so that you can stay in bondage to the leaders. And if you dare go against the leaders, they're going to put you out. The book of 3rd John talks about that with Dietary. How Dietary was kicking people out the church and then telling other people don't fellowship with them. Read the book of 3rd John. There's only one chapter, so you can't miss it. It talks about how Dietary was forbidding brethren in the church and telling other brethren, you better not fellowship with them. Today we hear it as, you better not eat off other tables.
Your brothers are right here in this room with you.
Only them.
Only them. Woo. Out of the entire earth, all your brothers are right here with you. Man.
That's something.
Paul W. said, I do. Still learning, breaking the chains of years of Christianity, and even leaning on groups to learn Torah in the beginning.
Only thing I'll say to that is subtract the groups, cancel all of that out, pick up that word, read it, and dare to believe it. If y'all needs to bring something out of it to you, he will.
He will.
He absolutely will. And you don't have to have it coming from, and I'm not saying there's not a place for teachers, because there is, but you need that foundation so that you're not easily led astray by, you know, all these wolves in sheep's clothing.
Brother Jay Moore said, I catch a lot of flack for reading the Bible and doing what it says by modern Christians.
You're in the right place.
You are in the right place. I think when you really start walking this out, you'll realize, because I always get confused. You know, the Bible says the road's narrow, right?
Yes, sir.
So how do these big ass camps with all these people? How are they the way? That doesn't sound too narrow to me. That sounds pretty broad. If all I have to do is listen to you, and I'm going to the kingdom,
right?
That sounds pretty stupid. I think what makes this road narrow is not just the obedience, but it's the fact that we live the book without adding to it, without overcomplicating, without being like the Pharisees did.
Right, trying to over spiritualize everything. Y'all set the boundaries here, and we say, oh, no, we're going to make it here. Not just for myself, because that would be fine, but for everyone, the boundary is here. And then you have people falling off, not because of where y'all set the boundaries, but because of traditions of men.
What did Yahshua say? Do as the Pharisees say, but don't do as they do, because They don't even lift a finger to do the things that they are telling you to do. They won't lift a finger to do the burdens, to lift the burden. So they'll tell you what to do, like lay it at my feet, but whose feet do they lay it at? Continually.
Yep.
I want to know whose feet do you continually lay it at? So the burden is mine to lay it at your feet.
Yep.
But who you laying at?
Prophet so-and-so.
Right.
Pastor so-and-so. Elder so-and-so. Moray whoever.
They want to go back. Well, back in 1977, I did lay it at somebody's feet. But nigga, you telling me to lay it every single time I get paid?
Right.
Lay it at your feet. Every single time I get paid. So whose feet you laying at? I'm laying at Yahshua's feet.
And did you even really do that?
Right.
Back then too.
Man.
Sister Sky said, of these things be not thou ashamed, and accept no person to sin thereby, of the law of the Most High and his covenant, and of judgment to justify the ungodly. Woo! Sister Cassie said, you mean all I have to do is run around the church like a fool screaming and yelling and I'm in? If you add the fallout at the end, yes. You got to fall out at the end.
Yep.
And they had that person put that, was it the prayer cloth?
Yeah, the prayer blanket. I
Prayer
guess.
blanket.
Yeah.
Over you, you win.
Doing it to the max.
Yep.
Everything but the book.
So just to let you know, I know many of y'all hear these things like, if you leave us, if you ain't part of us, you ain't making it. I think that we are a constant, our families, our children are a constant showing that if you just serve Yah and you have his protection around you, his angels are encamped around you because of your obedience, not your perfection.
Right.
Your obedience to him, if you really believed it, then you just live it.
That's true.
I noticed the wives didn't add in qualifications for a husband was following elder so-and-so. Being on elder so-and-so's community. Or pastor whoever's community. I noticed that wasn't one of the things that they look for, you know what I mean, as a good suitor.
That's a weak man.
Say it again, Brother Ronnie.
So they said that was a weak man.
Brother Ronnie said that's a weak man.
They didn't want nobody to tell. I mean, that is a weak man if your vision is elder so-and-so's vision. Brother, I just want you to come on here and work the land and be a good brother.
We got men calling other men master.
No. Oh, that seemed to be an ongoing thing now. If they only understood what they were saying. I mean, truly, according to the book. Where's your earring?
Bore your ear to this door with an owl.
Where's your earring to that man? When you say, what my wife? He say, what wife? This is my woman.
You mean that woman and those children I gave you?
Yeah.
No, they stay here. Yes, sir.
When you leave, they stay. But baby, you said you love me. I know men are being strengthened by this, these conversations. But there's an utmost fear that if I'm not part of this group, I mean, they even say it, you'll go to hell if you leave us.
Show me that in the book.
Show me that one.
But if you don't read the book, you would never know just how anti the book that is.
Anti-Messiah. Because Messiah is the only one that we should not be leaving. Yep.
The truth is what he said. So we've grown way too accustomed to letting other men take that place.
Mm-hmm. Sister Quentin said, when you live the truth, nobody sees color anymore. They just see hate. Sister Jasmine said, I'm working on my humility so I will be choice in my words. But if your Passover looks like Thanksgiving, you better run from that camp. Damn.
That sounds like they had cheeseburgers.
Definitely have biscuits.
Yep.
Stuffing.
Rolls. Cornbread.
Some pie.
The leaven kind.
Yes. A real fluffy kind. Well done said, I never understood the falling on the floor. I guess the spirit never moved me. However, I did do a curtsy fall to see if I was missing anything. Nope. He said, let me see if this works. Nope. The equivalence, leaving the camp as leaving the faith, is so foolish. It is. It is. You leave us, you left Yah. I'm like, no, from what I remember, I just left you.
I would highly recommend and admonish, get away from these camps and these groups, these churches, these whatever they want to call it, these organizations. I just get away from that stuff. It's been the best decision, one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Ever. We are not an organization. We don't need banners made. T-shirts. We're not an organization.
Just brothers.
Just brothers that love y'all, love our families, love each other. That's good enough for me.
That's real community.
Yep.
Being real.
And I think that's really
Being
what
real.
I think is that right there, which makes it that much more difficult than to. I'll put it this way. I think that's why most that we meet, they come and they go and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have laid too much on the line to truly walk this thing out. And I'm not about to go back in bondage or some buffoonery because I like a person.
That's true.
Man.
If I'm not accepting it out of my own self, I don't want to be around that from someone else.
Man.
Just bullshitology. Cheeseburgers on, during the Feast of Unleavened Bread and such like. It's just unacceptable.
That shit's wild, really. You think about it, these feasts are supposed to be solemn. They're supposed to be a holy convocation. As one of y'all said, it's one of those things you get yourself ready for it before it gets here.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
You don't do it by happenstance.
That's crazy. Halak Chakma Awar said, many false prophets have gone forth into the world. They sure have. But they're slick now. They'll just say, well, I'm not prophesying. But look, I done raised the dead.
I was just thinking about what y'all said about the feast being solemn. And it's somewhere you put work in before you get there. Now, I want you to think about something. When you go and order something at a restaurant, a cheeseburger, guess what the person normally asks you? Sir, how would you like that? Now, I'm going to just show you how much thought people put into serving Yah versus serving themselves. Think about it. They always say, sir, how would you like that? Medium, medium well, well done, or whatever the case is. So just think of about that. That means when those decisions are made, people didn't even take no thought about Yah or his feast day.
At all.
I hear people say accident.
What condiments do you want
Right,
on
right.
that
All
bread?
of that stuff.
Lettuce, tomato?
Man. And then they ask you, how do you want your fries done? So I let you know you're probably eating a burger.
Right. whole. I mean,
It's a mess.
This is the faith.
This is the faith. This is what Israel is now.
It's sad. Meanwhile, you have a spiritual name, or so-called pseudo-spiritual name, Makba or something weird, something with an L in it. It's sad. West Whole Forest said bacon cheeseburger at that.
At this point, it would not surprise me.
No.
It just really wouldn't.
It was.
He's like, shit, I'm not supposed to eat pork.
Yep.
This week.
This week.
Quentin Wells said more like Christian Hebrews. That's what it is.
That's exactly.
That's exact man. Saved by grace.
The Hebrew when it comes to polygyny.
Right?
Yeah, man, sign me up. Polygyny. I'll take that.
I'll take a wife or 3. Apostolic Hebrews.
Oh, wow.
The currency of our fellowship is brotherly, sisterly love, untouched by inflation, independent of technology, backed by the law of the Most High.
Hallelujah.
That's what this guy said.
Ooh,
That's it.
that girl good. Hallelujah.
She's a representation of her head. And the sad fact is many women today, if they represent their head, you be like, oh shit.
Yep.
Mm. That's crazy. Every feast day, I learn more and more about how I don't want to learn more and more.
That's a feminine representation of me, by the way.
Feminine,
I just have to throw that out there.
not a masculine
Right.
representation.
I wouldn't have that. That would be gay.
Her, right?
I don't want her mimicking me. I don't want her to mimic
Right.
me in that same sense. I want the feminine aspect of that.
Hallelujah.
I don't like dudes.
So you're not mimicking her.
If you just love Yah, I mean, the book makes it plain on how to love him. If you love me, you will keep my commandments. That's what Yahshua said.
That's it. You don't have to guess about it, wonder about it, pontificate on how do we love him. We just have to read it and believe it. Yes, sir.
And then do it.
And do it.
And after you do it, you just removed all doubt. So at that point in time, anytime somebody comes to you and tells you you're doing it wrong, all you gotta do is be like, show them in the law.
Right.
Because I'll be corrected. I'll correct it if I'm wrong.
Absolutely.
But just show me. If you can't show me, then you're making shit up.
In the law. Not based on your opinion, but based on the law.
Or some secret, private, Holy Spirit-led interpretation that your wife gave you.
Right. Or your prophecy because you supposedly got bit by a snake or grew a leg or raised from the dead and all this other crazy stuff.
As you can see, we're not the type of men that just get easily moved by religion. In fact, we don't get moved at all by religion.
No, way past that. In fact, I can just say this as flat out and honestly as I'm about to say it. I absolutely hate religion. I hate religion. I love Yah, I love this faith, but I hate religion because it's all false. It's all false. But I love Yah and I love the faith, I love this book. It's not the same thing either.
Are you looking for real brother, real brethren to come forth?
Am I looking for it?
I mean, in your, like if we meet brothers every year, new brothers every year. Are you looking for real men to come forth? Transparent men?
Absolutely. I mean, I would have a, very imperfect but very transparent brother over a supposedly perfect but non-transparent brother every day of the week. Every day of the week. Yes, meaning, I can know that you have flaws that you're working on and you're real and upfront and transparent about it. I have no problems with that. I'm not going to clown on it. None of that. I just rock with you. But for these brothers who want to flex on, vinegar and just foolishness and, my money or my vinegar is bigger or is smaller than yours and just crazy stuff. I just don't like that. I don't. I just like transparency and real. Wherever you're at. That's what I look for. But really at this point, I won't even say I'm looking for it. I hope for it, but I understand and know full well that the path is narrow. And I love the real ones, but most just aren't. Because the path is very narrow. Always has been, and it always will be.
Well, it's broken, bro.
That's what, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna be honest. I do look forward to other brethren coming along and their families, and them getting strengthened, and because sometimes it's just hard to think that is it just us? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because after a while, I start. I'm like, well, man, Lord, I guess it's just us.
I don't think it is, because I thought it was. For a time thought it was just
you.
It was going to be just me.
That's what
And then y'all brought us together. And I think what happens is that when men feel like you're alone, it's just me where I am. Y'all always, in one way or another, whether it's the channel or another brother or somebody comes along who also felt it was just them.
And I think it's not so much because of how they felt, but it's because what they have then walked out and proven that they are willing to go through. Because they're not looking at another man or another person for their salvation or their priesthood.
Man.
They're truly willing, and they have demonstrated the willingness to walk it out, even if that means alone. I.e., a test.
I.e., most of our patriarchs who were willing to walk this thing alone, who were willing to go through the test alone. They didn't have somebody to lean on. And then when they did get through that test, Yah brought others to them. And I think that's all of our story here.
Yes, sir.
From Brother Frank, who's over there, to Brother Ronnie, who's disappeared, to, to all of us. We've all felt like we were walking this thing alone at some point. And Yah brought us together. And it can happen where you are, whether you're a brother or a sister. As a sister, sometimes that process looks 10 times easier.
Right.
You have the opportunity to join a man's house. And bam, you got sisterhood right there. And who he fellowships with, you fellowship with, you have a ready-made family.
Right.
Ready-made fellowship, ready-made growth right there. But I remember feeling that feeling of, man, are we doing this alone?
And going back to what you just said, and I don't think it would be easier for the sisters. It's just easy for us from our vantage point to see it that way. But in either way, I think it's the same thing because we have a master too.
Yes.
And what it boils down to is you have to be willing and able to die to self.
Right.
You have to be willing and able to die to this belief or this, your desire for, I just want to cling to a group of people to identify with.
Yes.
Because that's culturally acceptable or whatever. And to be able to have the fortitude to say, no, I'll walk away from that. I will solely and 100% take responsibility for my consequences, my actions, for me and my family. That's rare. And it's a lot, it's not as easy done as said.
At all.
And I think that's why that's the hang up for most people. Because they want to, they have these false gods, false idols that they worship. And some of it is acceptance.
Right. Man.
The other one is convenience. Acceptance is huge. But it's really liberating when you just realize, hey, I'm not shit, and neither are you.
Right.
So really, Yah is the one who holds the keys to what eternity means for me. None of us do. Therefore, my pleasure is not in you.
Mm-hmm.
It's in Yah.
David Keller made a comment. He said, shalom and welcome to the channel, David Keller. He said, it would be nice to have fellowship with people that don't make you worry about what they might feed our children. When they say, "What's the big deal about it?" Always a difficult conversation. And I do understand that whole. When you hang around people that aren't in the faith, there always is that wonder, what are they going to slip my child?
Right.
And they may be innocently too.
Right.
It may just be like, hey, here's this. We don't need that.
Right.
That's why it's important to have these sort of fellowships with like-minded brethren, because it's not just food. It's also, what is somebody going to tell one of my wives?
Right.
That's going to be completely contrary to what I do, but that may be, see, because we understand our boundaries as men, that's never going to happen between us. You want to say something?
Well, just that that's spot on, and really what, that only takes place by us each individually coming to a place where you become unafraid to just be the asshole, so to speak, and say, you're not feeding my family anything because I'm better than you before you even have access to it. You may not like it, but it is what it is. You're not feeding my family anything. Just say no. We don't have to be the nice guy.
No.
Because, this world is playing for keeps.
Yeah.
And so am I. So we just say no. And we only got to this point through a process of checking each other out.
Right.
Vetting each other out. And understanding, this is all praise to the Most High. This is a safe haven here.
It is.
But we did that didn't happen by happenstance.
No, sir.
Hey, I like you. You smiled. You gave a good, strong hug or whatever, and so my children can play with your children.
Nope.
No, the first times, all the children were right here with us.
Amongst
so I'm
us.
seeing and hearing everything that's going on with my children, my ribs, whoever. And if something was astray, I'd give the signal. We out.
They'd just be like, that's the code. He out. And this this unity, because everyone speaks about oneness. We got to be one. Well, it's not oneness if a person's standing above you all and beating y'all into oneness.
Right.
Nigga, you better get it. That's not oneness. Oneness is the choice that we make. We go through the trials. We go through the tribulations. We go through the pain. We go even through the conflicts. I'm sorry, this is not some churchified, hey, brother, you're just my brother because your skin's black.
Right.
Brother? No.
Oneness is not in obedience, it is in submission.
Yes. Woo. I don't think they understand that one.
We'll leave it.
We'll leave it like that. But there's a big difference between the two of them. Big difference. David Keller said, thanks, David. I have grown to be such an asshole. Lost tons of friends and lots of family, but replacing them is slow.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Same here. You're on a good track.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hallelujah.
And I say that not because I did it. I say it because when I read this book and I open it, our forefathers did the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Bible says evil communication or evil company corrupts good habits.
Absolutely.
So if you hang around shit, you're going to become shit. I mean, it says in the Apocrypha, every man cleaveth to his like. So every man's going to hang around somebody like him. Ain't shit people hang around ain't shit people. That's what the Bible says. An evil woman is given as a portion to a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man. Ain't shit people find ain't shit people. And then for somebody like me, if you ever had an ain't shit woman, you gotta look at yourself and say, oh, damn. So I wasn't shit.
Birds of a feather flock together.
Yep.
Sir.
There's something about me, her was, I was attracted to something about her that I shouldn't have been attracted to.
That's it.
And I cleaved onto that. I wanted that, which means that's actually my bad.
Right.
So I kind of see that as the Most High was merciful to me and showed me myself in that situation. So that's not for me to say, all these women ain't nothing, they ain't shit. No. I got to see for myself what I was. And I got to purge that. I got to change that inside of me. Because it's easy to sit back and say it's their fault.
Right. Bible is a me book, not a you book.
Yep. Quentin said, it's crazy. Ain't shit people feel they don't deserve another ain't shit person. They really do. We see that. We heard that in the video you played yesterday.
Oh yeah.
I ain't shit, but I deserve somebody.
I deserve more.
I deserve more than me. I'm a 3 out of 10, but I need an 8 out of 10 at least.
Right. You are insane. In what world do those economics work out?
Hey, y'all hitting on something now. That's men and women alike.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
It's a hard reality when you go through your life and you look at some of the mistakes you made. And it was real easy to be like, it's their fault, and their fault, and their fault. Even, I'm going to be real, even in some of the ministries I was part of.
Yes, sir.
I look at it and say, well, they ain't shit now. Now I can see it. What does that mean about me?
Yep.
Why was I there?
And you praise y'all for delivering you from them.
That's it.
There's some real deliverance for you. You read the book, you were obedient. He delivered you from ancient ministries.
Mm-hmm.
And you have your own deed. Hallelujah.
Man,
That's huge.
that's cute. That's key.
You can be master of your own homestead.
And can't nobody take that from you. And you ain't got to feel bad about it.
Absolutely not.
Feel comfortable.
Man.
Sleep well at night. I know y'all sleep good at night. I do.
It feels good to know that what I'm doing for my family can't be stolen away from me by somebody under the auspice of them following Yah. Because I can say, I followed Yah. That's why I'm able to have this thing.
Absolutely.
You know it feels good to have a disagreement with your brother and know he can't take your land? Woo.
Man.
You're able to disagree.
Yes, sir.
And that's huge. You're able to actually state that you disagree.
Nope, I don't agree with that. Or as you know, sometimes we'll talk. And you know, Brother David would say, well, let's see how that works out. We'll circle back around to that. Let's see how that works out. And why is just like, nope, no, I'm not doing it. But we're comfortable being men, so
Right.
we can disagree like that and still, guess what, still be brothers and hold on to our stuff.
Yep.
And as a result, there's no way, it's not even plausible, we would not be eating cheeseburgers around each other.
Nope.
No.
Well, I can't say anything because, you know,
Don't want to offend them.
I guess I'll have one too.
I just wouldn't do it.
No, I wouldn't.
I
either.
believe if we was sitting at a place, let's say we had to travel. We did go somewhere. But I would say that if we saw one another doing something, eating a hamburger or ordering a hamburger or a cheeseburger, ordering some biscuits and a salad, I believe somebody say, are you crazy? I believe one of us might slap it out of each other.
Right.
Don't eat that in my car, man. What's wrong with you?
I bet we would check even before the order was done. Hey, brother, what do you have?
What did you have? I ordered a triple hamburger with extra yeasted bread.
Nah, brother, that ain't gonna work.
Brother, we'll be signaling for the waiter.
Yeah.
What's the matter, brothers? I got extra bacon on it. You want a slice?
I love you enough just to tell them to take it back.
Yeah.
We ain't eating that. We'll pay for it, but take it back.
Absolutely.
That's love.
Yes, sir.
That's what real love is. Most people don't understand it as that.
Oh, they'll overlook you. I want to keep your friendship, brother.
Yeah.
Or you see the brother eating something, and now you're like, I got to eat that too. I can't stand on my own. I got to do what he's doing so he can be my friend or my brother. Meanwhile, you're separating yourself from the Father.
Right.
All right. Kev asked the question. He said, obedience is obey in action, which is submission, correct? Submission and obedience are actually, we oftentimes think that they mean the same thing, but they actually don't. They actually don't.
You can obey outwardly while still not being in submission inwardly.
Yes, sir.
But you cannot be in submission outwardly without obedience.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
You can obey without submitting, but you can't submit without obeying.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Because one deals with your willingness.
Yes.
Willing sacrifice.
There it is. So it's not enough to just, I obeyed the law. But when you submit yourself to the Father, it's an inward joy to want to do
That's it.
what he's telling you to do.
It becomes a I get to do instead of I have to do.
There it is. That's when you're in submission. So a lot of times, we've seen this in marriages, women will obey and confuse that as submission.
Yep,
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, master. I'll do it, honey. Yes, babe. And then on the flip side, if they're submitted, they're like, oh man, I've been waiting on you to call on me for this. I don't feel a certain type of way about what you're asking me to do.
That's submission.
Yes, sir.
That's
I'm receptive. I'm willing.
Willing. You want
Yes,
to
sir.
be
Thankful.
in that position. What was that?
Thankful.
Thankful.
Yes, sir.
That's submission.
Honored to be used.
Yeah. Excited.
Yes, sir.
Looking forward to it daily.
Yes, sir.
That's when you are in submission. If you just grab the Bible and say, I gotta do what it says, you'll obey it.
Yep.
And technically, you're doing what the Bible says. But what I've noticed are people that are strictly in obedience to something oftentimes realize that they aren't happy doing what they're actually doing.
Yes, sir.
I would see it or label it as being more pharisaical.
There he is. Yes. You turn into a Pharisee.
Yes, sir.
When you are submitted to Yah, you don't need more rules. Because you already have it in your heart to do his will. It's in you to do his will. You're excited about it. You wake up every morning, you're like, yes, I get the opportunity to obey Yah. Because the other end of it is, I don't have the opportunity at all.
That's it.
And that's different than obedience. SG said, land is not the only thing. No one should take your dignity either.
Absolutely.
Man. Whew.
To me, that's just another one of those areas where, I kind of get tired of hearing this. Well, it happened because I was new to the faith because, it's kind of like a manhood issue.
Yep.
It's not a new to the faith issue. From my perspective,
Mhm.
Maybe it's just me.
No, I agree.
I don't think we were running around getting our dignity ripped from us even before the faith.
That's true.
You have to be a man before you can be a man of Yah.
Oh, say that again.
You have to be a man before you can be a man of Yah.
You have to be a man before you're a man of Yah.
We know that wouldn't be true anyway. That's just a cop-out. Because when you talk to most guys on the street, they were hard.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let nobody tell them nothing, say slick stuff to them, take anything away from them.
Yep.
But now you're new to the faith, and everybody can just run over you. I don't believe that.
It sounds stupid. I'm new to the faith, therefore, you can just take everything that's mine and use me for nothing. Because that's a new to the faith problem.
Just because I want to be a part of your culture,
Shit.
clique.
I'll create my own culture at that
That's a
point in time.
worshiper of man instead of being a worshiper of Yah. That's what that is, a respecter of persons.
Man. See, everybody thinks respecter of persons is there's two brothers and they do the same thing and one you like more than the other one.
No.
You can be a respecter of persons by just simply looking at somebody bullshit you and learning how to swallow it.
Yep.
I'll just learn to swallow it because I respect your title.
I just stick with the book.
Yes, sir.
You can test us on it. Somehow.
That's why you see these sweatshirts that we be wearing that you can get from HOQ Apparel, hoqapparel.com. Again, hoqapparel.com. And look at them during the Sabbath. Just don't order them till after. Okay, he said he ain't selling this one though. Sorry.
You can get these Just Live It's in the book.
Yep.
Nothing.
Look at this one. Just Live It right there.
Yep, that's the one you can get.
Just Live It.
Like I said earlier, if you're not living it, I don't think they should put. It's kind of like how they do cars. If you're not a Ferrari, I don't think they ought to put that label on you. If you're a Pinto or a Ford or something, then you should wear that. I don't think you should say I'm real when you know you're not real. You're not transparent. You're not a doer. No one, you're not a hearer. You're not a doer, and you're just not living it.
Maybe you can make one with an ellipses at the end.
Yes.
Just live it. As a kinda.
Or not.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. We'll allow y'all to fill in the blank with what those mean.
Or you can have a shirt when it says "Just Kinda Live It."
Right.
That might work.
Or in some cases, just don't live it.
Right.
Just eat a cheeseburger.
That one might sell out.
Oh man, that would be good.
Seems like the numbers they didn't drop.
They
went
didn't.
Up, actually. Huh. That's different.
Yep. We truly hope. We're almost at 3 hours, so we bring this to close.
Cool.
We truly hope that you enjoyed the opportunity to see our very beautiful and joyous wives, as well as us. But you see us already. But you get to see sisters that enjoy their positions in our households.
Yes, sir.
They enjoy the fact that they literally don't have to stress like 99.9999% of other women because they know we got it. Uh-oh.
I was just thinking, when these women join y'all houses, did they have all these prerequisites for y'all? You sure?
No.
Nope, they didn't have a laundry list of stuff that they wanted to do and the things that they didn't want you to do. They actually wanted to be utilized, used by the master.
To be honest, I know a lot of people like, you got to ask a lot of questions. Their questions are really pretty basic. And then they waited to see, was I doing what I said I was doing? They didn't go into all these specifics. How many times a day do you brush your front tooth? They didn't do that. They looked to see, was I living what I said? Could they actionably see it?
Cause we hear a lot of sisters with all these prerequisites. And like my brother said the other day, all of that stuff's gonna get you one or two things: either living alone with your cat or dog.
Yep.
Literally.
That's about what it's time for a lot of folks.
It really is.
Go ahead and get your dog and wrap it up there.
Yes, sir.
Get you,
Little Siamese cat?
Yep.
What about these rocking on the porch sisters? Did they come with that kind of stuff? I just want to be a part of your house and rock on the front porch, but please don't ever approach me for anything sexual because I'm done with all that.
It's a very taboo topic, I know, especially for those of you who have been raised in westernized Christianity. But sex is actually very important in marriage. Go figure, huh?
I know, right?
You would have never thought that sex was actually part of marriage. That God gave the woman a vagina for a reason.
I didn't know that many women was running from sex. Like it was a terrible thing.
That's pretty weird.
I just thought I'd throw that out there.
'Cause these are the things that we hear. People with broken vaginas. That shit got a caution sign. Under construction. Constantly.
Now, we ain't got no
It just
problem
ain't
with
real.
that. If you want, there's plenty of dogs and cats out there in the world. Hey, fill your house up with them.
Yep.
That's perfectly fine.
Go to a shelter.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
We got lots of those, and they're always overflowing.
Dudes, I didn't mean that for y'all. Brothers, don't create a shelter.
Oh, Lord, no.
That's another stream, but we need to stop
Man, you hitting on something.
We need to stop this mentality that, hey, I'm just taking you to be righteous, give you another opportunity or third opportunity or fourth opportunity in some cases, because that's uber righteous of me. Like, no, that's a trap. You're about to blow your vision up before you ever even get it up and running.
Yes, sir.
So that is not what I meant by shelter. I just figured I'd throw that out there.
He's not talking about an orphanage.
Yes, sir.
Or a women's preserve.
Taking in a single woman does not qualify your righteousness, man. That does not garner favor with Yah because you want to take on a single mother. It actually speaks to how you roll, technically.
Yep.
It shows that, hey, you don't even think about getting a woman that's qualified to be a wife. You want somebody that's went through many men. Many baby daddies.
Right.
That signifies you like drama in your life.
And I don't. If I want drama, I stay in the city. Or apply for Young and the Restless. Sister Sky said, any unmarried women watching who think they may be good material to be utilized for use in a successful household, who'd be grateful for an established family? That's an excellent question.
It is. And that's theoretical, because I'll just say for me, I ain't even looking down at my phone to see who's answering.
Nope.
That's an excellent thought-provoking question.
Yeah.
Rhetorical.
That's a question you answer inside your head and ask yourself, do I even want anything?
Right. She may not have meant it rhetorical, but I did. It's rhetorical.
Because you know what happens? Women be like, me.
Unqualified.
And then some people will be answering them and be courting them, and I don't believe
before
in that.
the stream is over.
Oh,
Within
man.
the next 10 minutes, like,
yeah, women,
I'm covered.
We're not asking you to answer that question, because you answer that question, you'll have 8 dudes.
Yeah.
Hey, sister. Shalom, sister.
Send me your email address, sister.
Like,
What's your
wow,
Facebook?
We didn't even know you were watching.
Right.
Yep.
That's the first comment you've made in a
The
year.
whole stream. 15 minutes later, she comes by. Brothers, never mind. Take my name off the list. I'm covered.
I'm covered.
Like, oh, so.
No, they say I'm courting.
Yeah, I'm courting. I'm courting. Oh, so you talking to somebody already? No, we married.
We'll already know who. We won't even have to ask. Yep.
If you say you betrothed in the first 5 minutes, we already know who did it.
Got him.
Yep.
I knew you were watching.
Wow.
Oh, if you're new to the tribe.
Oh, man. Wake up.
Oh, gosh. That was funny.
Well, we love y'all.
We do love y'all. We hope y'all had a blessed Passover for those that did it. And a feast of unleavened bread for those that didn't eat cheeseburgers.
Or biscuits.
Or kept the high Shabbats.
Buying and selling.
Dare to believe this book.
Yes, sir.
Oh, God.
Keep your pistols holstered during the feast day. Yes, sir. Be safe out there. Hey, just being honest. You shouldn't be nervous. You shouldn't be nervous at the feast day. Keep your pistols holstered.
That was scary.
Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. These things can't be real. I hope y'all have a blessed Shabbat. Man.
might clown, but we love y'all.
We do love y'all.
We just want you to be safe.
Yes, sir.
And keep us safe. Man, I'm trying to live and have my family live.
Yes, sir.
Man. Whew. That was scary.
I ain't picked up my gun. I leave it in the bag.
Oh gosh. Oh. Y'all started this. Oh.
Oh, man.
Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
Have a blessed Shabbat.
Shabbat shalom.
This is getting out of hand.
Yeah, we've been Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. We love y'all. Oh gosh.